What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Box Office Dynasty. We are your hosts. I'm Jack,
And I'm Josh.
and we are on an Odyssey of our own today with a great episode. We are talking the Odyssey, of course, going to review that major movie, and we're also going to review The Invite, which is a movie that came out recently, and it's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a fat one. I went on an Odyssey of my own recently, so I haven't seen you guys in a while. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I was gonna say, what took longer, your Odyssey around Europe, or for the BOD to get another episode out? I know it's only 1 week, but it's been a while since we had skipped a week, so it really felt. And the week before that was a guest episode.
Yeah. So it hasn't been a classic VOD episode in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's literally been 2 weeks, 3 weeks almost.
We had 2 weeks in between, so yeah, it's been like it's been like 3 weeks since you and I did an episode. But Ben, Brandon, and Matt filled in very admirably.
Yeah, and you gave them a hefty episode too, so it'll fill the gaps.
It really wasn't even that hefty compared to something like today's episode. It was just when you have four people. It was the first time we ever, had this show. Four people, actually. So without you here, I was like experimenting a little bit, like the
you and your boys
parameters
were
of the show.
experimenting.
Hey, you know what I
fuck?
mean? Sometimes we're cool with on-camera stuff, you know?
Yeah. But, it is good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man. How was the trip?
It was great. I went to 5 countries. I went to England, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Spain. Had a great time. I've only ever been to Europe once when I went to Ireland, and Europe is fucking beautiful, dude. Like, oh, I had such a great time. I miss it. Sweden is a spectacular, beautiful, incredible country. I would live there, honestly, if I could. That place is just, it's gorgeous, and the people are gorgeous. Oh my God, the men and the women, they're beautiful souls and beautiful people. I absolutely loved it, but I did miss being here. I was actually in Spain when they won a couple World Cup games, which was really cool.
And then they won the whole thing.
I was
they
in a
won the
brewery
whole damn thing
when Spain beat Belgium, I think, which was, I guess that was after Belgium beat us. And so I was there while Spain got our revenge, and yeah, people were losing their minds. It was awesome. It was a great time. That's how I imagined being in New York City during the Knicks win was.
You know what? It is. And when I saw like the videos of what Madrid looked like after that final against Argentina, it was nuts. It reminded me of when the Knicks won, but almost like on steroids. That's cool. Like I remember I joked with you, like I was like, Jack, you're leaving the country during the 250th anniversary and hosting the World Cup.
Yep.
And, like there is an irony to that, especially as a history guy like you, but also for the World Cup to experience the pure joy and significance of these games in the countries and the cultures and communities around the world. Like for you to have gotten that experience for one that went on the run like Spain did, that is a pretty cool perspective to have.
It was cool. It was awesome. I was in a Irish pub in London when England was playing against whoever they were playing, and it was awesome just like being with all the British people while they're watching their team play. It was really cool.
Yeah, those Europeans and really everyone besides Americans take their World Cup very seriously.
Yeah.
Like when America lost, everyone was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. And whenever like any other team loses, they're like in tears, they're like consoling one another.
We're just happy to be there.
It's like, right. We're like, well, we suck at soccer. We know that this isn't our thing.
I'm surprised we even made it as far as we did, honestly.
Honestly, me too. And I got into it. And then when we lost, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right.
That makes sense.
Because I remember we're like, yo, we're going to fuck up Belgium. And Belgium fucked us up. And I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we were undefeated too, which was like pretty cool.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, so you had your own crazy adventure while you were gone, and I had a pretty crazy one too. I got new glasses.
Are those new?
These are new glasses. Look at the frames.
Oh, different.
They're
not the other ones used to be black, right?
Yeah, they would. So it's a little thicker around like the front here, and then the frame, the frames on the sides are metallic to the plastic
man.
here. So
for our audio listeners,
Josh
Josh
trying
is
to
looking
do some
sexy.
different. trying to do something different.
Yeah, dude.
And for the first time, I got prescription sunglasses, dude. And I was like, that was a new experience for me.
Really? That
I've
see,
always been the person who couldn't wear them.
that's the sole reason why I got contacts is because I was sick of not being able to wear sunglasses, and I didn't want to have to swap between prescriptions because then when you go inside, you have to put your regular glasses on. I didn't want to carry around two pairs of glasses, so I got contacts. Obviously, I'm wearing my glasses today, but you know.
Yeah, that's fair. I have the two pairs now, and I'm like, you know what? It's not like I wear them all the time. I just like on occasion,
Yeah.
I just want to have them. Like, I don't mind if I occasionally wear two pairs around. I just can't touch my eyes. No, no way.
Yeah,
I don't know how you
I'm
do
fine
it.
with that. That's why I can do it. You
Yeah.
got new glasses.
So
I got a new tattoo.
you did get a new tattoo.
Dude, I got
That's
tatted
right.
up,
That
bro.
was so sick.
Okay,
Dude.
I wonder if I can show the people.
Yeah, come on, give us
Look
a
at
peek.
that.
Look at
Look at
that.
that, dude.
What is it exactly?
It's the Celtic knot. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
the
Yeah.
the Irish Trinity knot. Apparently, it has like a shitload of different meanings, so you can kind of interpret it the way you want. So like the 3 points are like it used to be like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, but as you
Right.
know, not religious in the slightest.
No.
Other people are like, oh,
You're
it's
just like, it's cool.
yeah, literally, I'm Irish and it's cool. And some people are like, oh, it's the mind, body, soul. Some people are like earth, wind, fire. Like, I don't give a fuck. It looks cool. I like it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that totally checks out. No, it's fucking sick, dude. I love it. I'm actually a huge fan.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. And I want to talk to you about tattoos in a little bit after this because we have some news nuggets, but then we're going into something after that I want to talk to you that we're gonna have to talk about. But we have news today. We do have lots of news.
We have lots of news to catch up on. Of course, it's been a couple weeks, folks. Things happen.
Yeah, a lot of things happen.
Things happen.
Things fucking happen, dude. I'll start because I don't know how many you have, but I have 5. So I don't know.
I have a few, but not as many as you guys would think. I
Okay.
have one big thing to talk about, but we'll get to it.
Okay, I'll start. I have a lot of small things. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
I have Coleman Domingo is writing the live-action Princess and the Frog movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm sick
Yeah.
of live-action remakes, but Coleman Domingo is a pretty trustworthy guy, I think. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that is such an underrated Disney animated movie. The Princess
it's my
and the
girlfriend's
Frog.
favorite. She
It's
loves
a
it. She showed it to
really
me last
good
year.
movie. It's
It's
a
great.
really good movie for sure. Obviously, and we're going to talk a little bit about live action remakes in a bit too, but
Oh, really?
not a fan, you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessary by any means, but it is an interesting name to get to write it. I don't
Yeah.
know how much writing Coleman Domingo has done before, so I am curious.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I was like, was he in that movie? And
No, I don't
he's
think
not
so.
because it's Keith David as the villain, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe Keith David would be a part of the live action at least, but I don't know if they haven't confirmed anything besides he's writing
Well, it said Coleman Domingo is co-writing it. That means there's going to be another writer, so I don't know who that is yet.
All right, well we'll wait and see.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Speaking of adaptations and writing, a Nightmare on Elm Street remake is in the works at Paramount, and the film is going to adapt Wes Craven's original screenplay yet again. I was talking to a good friend, Brandon, about this, and there is definitely, for fans of the franchise, treading carefully. They have adapted that screenplay over and over. They cannot capture what Wes Craven has done.
No, it's also Paramount.
Yeah,
It's
for
also
sure. For sure. Their track record in recent memory has not been pristine, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, is that, I'm trying to, wait, what is that Freddy Krueger?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've seen the original and that's it. I honestly didn't even know there were other versions of it.
There's a ton.
Johnny
I
Depp's
love
in the original, right?
Yes.
That's the one I've seen then. When he's like he's really young.
Yeah, because that came out in '84. Yeah, yes, he's.
That's
in
the only one I've
84
seen.
One. It's with him and Heather Langenkamp.
Yeah, I like that one, but they're probably gonna fuck it up. So
probably.
You know what?
All right.
On the same vibe as of live action remakes. I know you and I, neither of us have played this game, but the God of War series on Amazon Prime Video, Ryan Hurst was cast as Kratos a while back, and he tore his bicep. And they already filmed 4 episodes. They are refilming those 4 episodes with a new actor playing Kratos. That's rough, man. That is so rough because that is such a big, not breakout role. Like people know Ryan Hurst, but that is a huge role to be a part of and a huge show to be a part of. And it kind of sucks for Ryan Hurst.
I did see that. Obviously, I'm not big into Gods of War, but I know a lot of people who are. And yeah, you know what I find interesting is apparently there was a lot of discourse online about his casting as Kratos in the first place.
Yeah, they said he wasn't in
S-
shape enough.
Right. So I'm not saying that this is proof of that or anything. All I'm saying is that uh it's not how you want to see anything. You don't want anyone to get hurt. Obviously, it's really unfortunate, but there
Yeah.
are definitely people online who are like, good, now we can correct the casting. So I
I
think it's an interesting discourse people are having.
I wonder if Prime Video saw him get hurt and was like, instead of waiting it out when they could have, they were like, "Oh, let's just use this as an excuse to recast."
I thought that they just straight up can't wait it out. Like, I thought that was the thing. I mean, I guess
Maybe
they could
'cause
just be
I
saying
heard his
that.
healing process, he wouldn't be fully healed to film until the beginning of 2027.
Yeah, I don't know if they can afford to wait that long.
Probably not.
Um, all right, moving on. Matt Damon confirmed a new Jason Bourne movie is in the works, and they are looking to Edward Berger, who directed All Quiet on the Western Front, to direct the film. And another interesting part of this is apparently Zendaya may be positioned to eventually take over as the franchise lead.
Ooh, people are gonna hate that. Wow,
Yeah.
they're gonna
Uh,
hate that. Um,
uh,
I actually
yeah.
just watched the first Jason Bourne on the plane on the way to London, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Um, so that's yeah, I want to finish the rest of that series. I heard they're not all amazing, but the first one was pretty good.
It kind of feels like I've seen the first like two of them, I think, and it does feel like something you would enjoy.
It was good. I heard there's like 3 or 4 of them with Matt Damon. Then there's like a spin-off with Jeremy Renner that people fucking hate,
I've
which
never seen
means
that one.
they are gonna hate Zendaya taking over if that's true. They didn't even like Jeremy Renner, and he's a white guy. Like they're gonna hate a black woman taking over, dude. They are not gonna like that.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure.
Yeah. Something super interesting, and I would love to get your perspective on this. Indy Never Ready has met and confirmed to have met with Jake Schreier, the director of the upcoming X-Men film, and she has publicly announced that she would happily join the Marvel Cinematic Universe if given the opportunity. She has been facing backlash the last couple of weeks for saying this, being called a sellout, being, told that she should stick with indie movies and small budget films. What do you think about that?
You know what's funny about this, Jack? This was one of the news nuggets last week.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
obviously I didn't listen to the
or
episode.
last episode, I should say. Yeah, but it's interesting that you bring that up because I don't feel that way about it at all. Look, I she is really new on the scene. I know she's done a few things before: Obsession, Superman and Lois, and I think she was in 13 Reasons Why. I don't know, she was in something else. But obviously Obsession is her big break. And for I completely understand her capitalizing on that break to make a really good paycheck that's going to set her for life. Like
That
she's
is job
not
security, dude.
yeah, like it's not like we can criticize Robert Downey Jr. for going back to Marvel despite how big of the payday it was because it's not like he needs it. Indy Navarrete, I'm not trying to assume anything about her financial situation, but she doesn't have Robert Downey Jr. money. I completely understand her
Yes.
making this decision. I just don't want her to be trapped in the Marvel, cog for like 10 years where she can't really do anything else. That would be
Yes.
very unfortunate to me.
I get that. Yeah, I just don't get people being like, you're a sellout. Like, given the opportunity, they wouldn't join the MCU either. Like, that's insane to me. Like, yeah, I want to be a fucking superhero with hundreds of millions of dollars for the next couple of years. Yeah, I'd like to do that. So yeah.
I think sellout is harsh. I understand the perspective where people are like, you're just acting in front of a green screen and cutting a massive check and this and that. I think there's some like I think while I understand the whole like green screen versus practical thing, which we're gonna talk a bit about today with the Odyssey, like
Uh-huh.
I don't think you should really put that on the actors. I think they're doing the best with what they're working with. I think there's been some great performances that actors have managed to give in these kind of CGI green screen films. If you want to, if anyone, you blame the producers and the directors for that, but like she's cutting a check, you know what I mean? She's capitalizing on her success. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I agree. Totally agree.
Speaking of superhero movies, the upcoming Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, has confirmed that Xolo Mariduena, is going to return as Blue Beetle.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that shit. I really like that movie.
He is really good in Blue Beetle. It is a really solid film from the DCU/DCU kind of weird crossover.
Yeah, and I like that this kind of clarifies where that stands.
It's like
In
Peacemaker, you know?
Yeah, it's a little and the Suicide Squad obviously is a little canon because Peacemaker's in it. So
Right.
it's hard to be like, do we have
Yeah.
4 films in the DCU right now or only 2? I don't know.
Well, we have the DCEU. It's like a Venn diagram. We have the
It literally
DCEU
is.
and the DCU, and in the middle, there's a couple films that are kind of both.
Yeah, yeah, it's true because in the end of Shazam 2, Harcourt and John Economos show up and try to recruit Shazam. So it's like, is Shazam also part of the? I don't fucking know, dude. Whatever.
See, this is the thing about the universe stuff. As fun as it is, it does get a little confusing. Like it works on a comic level, and it's not the same way that it always
No.
works on a film level.
No
We're like,
way.
so does this connect to that? And where does this fit in?
Well,
It's
I'm excited to
yeah.
see him either way.
Me too.
And you know what? We're in sync here, dude. Because speaking of the DCU,
I know what you
Jimmy
mean.
Tatro has been
Oh.
cast as Gorilla Grodd in the new Jimmy Olsen TV show. I like that casting. Bro can be a gorilla. I like it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, he's got
This is what
gorilla-esque
a while
features.
ago. This is what James Gunn tweeted out to me about was Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, he did tweet out to you?
Yeah, well,
Oh.
he replied to a tweet that I obviously he didn't like find me and tweet to me, but yeah, he
DM'd
he
you.
had posted something. I don't remember what the original post was, and it was something about gorillas, and I was like, finally, someone who has our best interests in mind. And he basically tweeted out at me like, I got like to the like, you know, I'm looking out for you, things like that, something to that effect. But
Here
it
comes
was a
Gorilla
few years
Grodd.
back. Yeah, it was like when he first was announced to take over DC.
Oh.
But yeah, that's really funny. That's like kind of full circle.
Yeah, that's a good casting. I mean, now I have no idea what the hell this TV show's about, but
Oh, me
whatever.
either. Me either. Yeah. Um, continuing, I guess, in this theme, but unsurprisingly, the Batman Part 2 has been delayed yet again. It is now slated to come out February 18th, 2028.
Honestly, I'm starting to lose interest in this movie.
A little. I mean, it'll be, what, 6 years at that point?
I'm just like, just say it's going to come out in 2028 and have it come out in 2028. Like at this point, say 2029 and then in a couple months announce 2028 and everyone will be hyped, you know? Like, fucking stop they're underselling when it's going to come out so often and it's so annoying.
You know what's frustrating about it too is like I completely am okay with them not introducing Batman in the DCU until we finish the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves films. But the problem is they're going to take so long to finish those that it's like we're in this weird period where it's of Batman where it's like we have good stuff going on, but it's all kind of just backed up.
I know we might get a third Superman movie before we get a first Batman in the DCU.
Yeah, which
Like,
is
I think
like,
that's very possible.
yeah, which is like, can you imagine if we'd gotten 3 Iron Mans before a Captain America?
That'd be insane. I mean, we got 2, but then like it's still insane. Like I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
it pisses me off. My last one is a show that you and I both enjoy. I love this show. Reacher season 5 has started filming. Season 4 comes out in about 2 or 3 weeks, like August 12th, I think. But season 5 announced and filming already. I wonder how long the show can go. Lee Child has so many books that they can make Reacher off of. And I'm happy to see it go as long as they want.
I agree. I mean, it's a fun show. It's like kind of popcorn entertainment, you know
Super
what I mean?
duper entertaining.
You just sit back and enjoy Alan Richardson's, big beefy action scenes,
Yeah,
fucking beating the shit out of people. No, it's a good time. I definitely enjoy watching it. And you're right. It's one of those shows that they could just keep going until they don't want to. Like a new a new case every season.
I love it. They have all the books. I mean, each season is based on one of the books, so I think
Yeah,
there's like 21 books or something. So let's go 21 seasons. Fuck it.
yeah. I have two more in the news nugget range.
You wrap it. You do whatever you want because those are my last one. I'm done.
These are pretty connected in a way. And the first is that Netflix is in the early stages of a possible acquisition of Letterbox. They're not the only party interested in doing this. Sony, Paramount, Versant, Redbird, TPG, and even Reddit are all trying to acquire Letterbox at this time. What I don't like it at all. For very obvious reasons, which is that if you have a movie, first of all, you're gonna ruin Letterbox. But
It's
like
perfect the way it is. It will
it's
totally
it's
get ruined.
literally perfect the way it is. It's a fantastic place for the film community to gather and log and review and communicate to one another about movies. And for if like Netflix were to come in, or like Paramount were to come in and buy this, it would be a studio owning both the film industry and the film discourse industry. Like there is a danger to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, that's like that is like I don't know, like Amazon Prime who puts out all these shitty like originals, them buying Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that is what that is. I know Letterbox is more it's less like critics as their job. Like people have jobs where they're a film critic and it's more just people who love to review movies, but still people I now instead of going to Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, if I want to see how well a movie's doing like ratings wise, I go to Letterboxd. So if a company has control of Letterboxd and they make their movies somehow have a higher rating, that's going to influence me to see it because I am influenced by Letterboxd, and so are millions of other people. That's tough, dude. That sucks.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because Amazon literally bought IMDb
Yeah, dude, that's
back
fucking dumb.
back in '98. You know what I mean? So it's like this real consolidation of that. You know, you can, and it's related to this. It's a good segue into the last major thing going on. It's controlling the press, controlling the media, and also controlling public opinion. Like
Uh,
having an app like Letterbox, you know what I mean? Just swaying the discourse. Like we can't freely review like a Netflix film. They're going to flood it with false reviews, bot reviews, you know. So it leads me to the last news nugget, which is an update on the saga of Paramount v Warner Brothers that we have been going through for like almost a year
yeah,
on this
pretty
show.
much.
Like we in the fall will mark a year that we've started discussing this situation with Warner Brothers. So things have progressed while you were in Europe. A coalition of 12 states have officially filed a lawsuit to block the merger, including Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, and Washington. So that is one lawsuit that has been filed against against Paramount right now. But let me tell you, and I'll give you a second to chime in. It's not the only one.
Wow. Okay. Good.
Um, the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, has also filed a lawsuit to block the merger. Citing fewer competitors would give Paramount the incentive and ability to lower costs by suppressing the writers' wages and reducing their output. Which is all very true. So the WGA also taking action legally against Paramount. And a third lawsuit that I personally find the most interesting, a Paramount shareholder themselves is suing the Ellison family, the controlling party of Paramount Skydance, in an attempt to stop the merger. It's actually the fourth lawsuit. There's also another one going on, and this one is citing that they are accusing the Ellison family of striking an illegal deal with Donald Trump to secure the merger, Trump is allegedly going to get $20 million in free advertising across their networks. And that would be on top of the $16 million settlement he received in the 60 Minutes case. And this shareholder says that this is causing them to hemorrhage viewers across their news outlets. So they are also suing the literal CEO of the company, someone who has a stake in it. This is coming from every which way at the Ellisons right now.
Yeah, dude, they are getting bombarded, like backed into a corner, which I love. I'm just like, as much as I am blaming Paramount, how come no one is blaming Warner Brothers for willing to sell to Paramount?
Oh, well, I think that their CEO, David Zaslav, certainly got a lot of heat
Did he?
for
Good, because
this. That's why he ended
yeah.
up, the Warner Brothers shareholders voted to reject his payout from
Right.
the
Oh, right.
acquisition.
I remember that.
Because when you look at Warner Brothers, I mean, they have debt, but so does Paramount. And when Paramount takes on Warner Brothers, guess what? They're going to have even more debt than they already do. They're eventually going to have to sell to an even bigger tech company, probably, themselves. Eventually, the studio system at this rate would fall apart and they would entirely be owned by tech companies like
Yeah.
Amazon or Apple or Google. You know what I mean? There won't be private Warner Brothers or Paramount or Universal anymore, who is themselves owned by Comcast. Like it is definitely the fault of both sides, to that point where Warner Brothers, despite their debt, had, when we talked about it on the show, a string of, like, what was it, 9 box office hits in a row?
Yeah, some bangers back to
Something
back.
like that throughout all of 2025. I don't think they really needed to sell. And they were like talking to Netflix and Comcast and all this crazy stuff. But like, truthfully, I think that they could have continued on.
Yeah, and their budgets weren't insanely high compared to the money they were making from those movies.
I expect, yeah, well, because they're breaking even, they're making profit. And
Exactly.
I think at the end of the day, you can look at it as it was just greed. They were trying to cash out.
Yeah,
Zaslav shareholders are trying to cash out.
I think they're also to blame. So that's good though
It's greed.
There are so many lawsuits. You have to spend so much money to defend against those lawsuits and so much time and effort against it. Maybe it'll just be like, it's not worth it. Come on, guys, it's not worth it to own
Well,
Warner Brothers.
I don't know. It's interesting. All of this has caused a federal judge to put a temporary halt on the merger.
Sweet.
Which is awesome, but of course, temporary is the key word there. It just slows it down. It doesn't necessarily stop it. It's interesting because now Paramount, who is obviously located in Los Angeles, is considering relocating out of the state of California amid these lawsuits. And the place that they are looking to move to, Tennessee.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Texas.
Tennessee. Well, yeah, that's a good guess. It's very interesting to me that a movie studio is going to look to maybe move to a red state in the Donald Trump administration amid lawsuits from primarily blue states.
Yes, like if you're moving from California, you better be going to New York, dude. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Which, of course, they're not going
exactly.
to.
So now it's like,
or Atlanta. Truthfully,
or
Atlanta is
yeah,
massive in the film industry. I would understand that, but no, they are looking to move to Tennessee. I think that's hilarious.
It's very telling.
It is, and I just think it's hilarious. So, that's pretty much what's going on. That's the update right now with Paramount and Warner Brothers with the lawsuits and the temporary halt. Again, not going to necessarily put an end to this, but it slows things down. I mean, this could drag on for years. Like, we might be at our 10th anniversary of the BOD, and we're gonna be like, here's our update on Warner Brothers and Paramount.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
While we're talking about kind of things that are a little more important and relevant today, we were talking about tattoos earlier, right? And I already had a plan for my second tattoo, and it was going to be the T-Rex skull from Jurassic Park, just tiny T-Rex skull, maybe on my arm or something. And the day I got my first tattoo, I was considering, I was like, maybe I should just get the small T-Rex one because I love Jurassic Park. It's my favorite movie. I grew up loving dinosaurs. I was like, no, I'll do that. That'll be my second one. I'll do the Trinity Knot first. Um, and unfortunately, that day, July 13th, at 78 years old, Sam Neill passed away. That was rough, man. That was really rough.
Yeah, Sam Neill, obviously known for the lead in Jurassic Park and other films like throughout the years, just such a incredible actor. You know what I mean? Really one of the big leading men of the entire '90s. And you know what was really sad about that one is that so he had been battling cancer for several years. He had blood cancer, I think, and I think it was like 5 years he was battling that. And back in the spring, in April, I think he announced he was cancer free, and that he was ready to go back to work. And then it was confirmed that it wasn't even cancer. You know, it was a brief illness that got him, which obviously was just an effect of his weakened immune system from the chemo. But
Yeah, so
still, it's just
surprising.
tragic, you know, like to fight and beat cancer and then a few months, you know, later you getting sick and dying. I mean, he like I said, he was just he's such a big part of Jurassic Park. He really is like the heart of that
Totally. He's
franchise.
my favorite. Everyone is always like, I love Ian Malcolm, right? Jeff Goldblum. Dude, Alan Grant has always been my favorite character throughout the entire franchise. And that is my
Mhm.
favorite movie of all time. So he's up there with some of my favorite characters of all time throughout every movie ever. Alan Grant, Sam Neill, man. Like, just so important to me and you. Like, just a great character, great actor. Seemed like a great guy. Any interview I see with him, he's just like he gives the best answers for everything, man. It's great.
He was also, you know what else he was also in that was really good that he was so good in the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
The John Carpenter film from 1994, that he cuz I everyone thinks of Jurassic Park and cuz obviously Alan Grant is the defining role of his career, but he had a pretty significant career in horror as well, and I think that is probably my favorite of those films that he did in the Mouth of Madness. He is so good in that movie, you know, his descent into this madness. I mean, he it just shows the uh flexibility of his range, you know, the variety that he had to offer in his work. And you're right, he seemed like such a great guy. You know, I think it's sad. um I think he still could have had, I mean, he was 78, you know, obviously it's not like he was super young, but I think he still had more ahead of him. um you know, more work to offer. And yeah, it really, it stinks, man.
He
That
was
there's
just yeah.
been
He
a
was
lot of losses.
he was just in a TV show on Netflix called Untamed that I had just started. I'm like 2 episodes in, and he's in it. And actually, he is the reason I started watching it. And I started watching it before I went away, and then so I only got 2 episodes in, and then I came back, and then he passed away. So I got to finish it. But I think season two just came out. But I think it's one of those shows that's like White Lotus, where it's like a new cast every season. So I don't know if he's in season two anyway. But I know he's in season one, and so far it's pretty good. It's a Netflix show called Untamed, and he has some movies coming out.
Yeah, he
Um,
does.
I know I saw a post about it, and I saw you liked it. So I know one of them off the top of my head. I didn't write it down, but the new Godzilla X Kong movie, Godzilla X Kong Supernova. I think I had no idea he was going to be in that. That is
Me either.
devastating to hear that he's not going to be alive when that comes out. But it's such a good casting. Like if I knew about that when he was alive, oh my god, my excitement would have been through the roof. I'm still excited to see him, of course, but like Godzilla and fucking Alan Grant, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, I agree. No, we're really gonna miss him. You know, it's a big loss in a year of big losses, I feel like, to Hollywood. Just so
Uh-huh.
many, you know, talented people. Even while you were gone, there was like the actress from Daredevil, who played the older Chinese woman who was part of
Yes, Madame Gao.
yes, Madame Gao. She passed away. The pigeon lady from Home Alone passed away.
Oh,
Um,
well, yeah. Wow.
and then I did you see the one today?
Yeah, I was just gonna. Yep.
Yeah, Kaylee Hottle, who played Gia. Speaking of Godzilla and Kong, Gia, the deaf girl in the Godzilla Kong films, it was announced today, as of recording, that she passed away at the age of 18 after a fatal car crash. And that is, I mean, that one was like that one doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? Because she's so young.
Yeah, it's like you feel sad when older celebrities die, but you're at the end of the day, you're like, it happens. You know, you're like, damn, that sucks, but it happens. But like shit like this, you're not like, oh, that makes sense. You're like, how could this possibly happen? It's fucked up.
I agree. Like when Robert Duvall passed away in
Yeah.
February, he was 95, and when someone's that old, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's easy, and this might sound weird, but it's bittersweet in a way, especially like not like it's sweet to see people go that you love, but that is what gives life meaning, is the fact that it ends in all serious, you know what I mean, in all seriousness. And when you're 95 and you had as successful of a career and such a life worthy of celebrating like Robert Duvall, it's bittersweet in the way that you can now celebrate him and a life fully lived. But when you see something like Kaylee Hottle, who's 18, who still has her whole life ahead of her, who still has decades potentially worth to give, but and even that, like, beyond professionally speaking, just her friends and her family, you know what I mean, who still so many memories that they could experience with her. It makes it so jarring to the soul, and it's just super fucking tragic. Like, it
Uh-huh.
really breaks my heart for her and her family. And it just proves that it like, think life is not fair. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, it's another reminder of that.
It's fucked up. Sam Neill and Kaylee Hottle will be missed, and everyone else who passed away. I mean, it's been a rough year, but that, yeah, wow, it is crazy. They will all
Yeah,
be missed,
for sure.
and I'm gonna get that tattoo one day. Shout out Sam Neill.
Can you imagine if you had gotten the tattoo that day?
I was literally I always wanted this one first, and I was like, you know what? I was getting nervous to get it because this one's a lot bigger than the T-Rex I was gonna get. It was gonna be tiny, this big on my arm, just a little tiny one for my first one. I was like, maybe I should get the small one first. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm a man. I'm gonna get the big one first because that's what I was planning. But if I got the small one, it would have been like a little honorary Sam Neill tattoo.
It I mean, your tattoo is fucking sick, and it makes sense that that is the first one you'd get. But all I'm saying is, from a coincidence standpoint, if you had gotten it and then like found out he died, there would have been some sort of symbolic significance, like deep, meaningful significance to
Yeah,
that day for you, I would
yeah,
say.
would have been wild.
Yeah, man. Whew. Heavy stuff. It's been a rough time.
This is a fun episode, though. I promise it's a fun episode, guys. We're just getting there.
But why don't we move on to some box office numbers?
Wow, I haven't heard you say
And
that in so long.
yeah, man, how does that feel to hear those words roll off the
Feels
tongue again?
feels good. It feels like I've been
Hitting the
reborn.
ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go through these, and there is some stuff to talk about, and I didn't even get to finish all the notes because that's how much there is for me to work through. So I'm just going to do the best I can from between notes and memory. But man, the box office has been crazy because we are in the second biggest part of the year for films. I think you got the summer season, and then the biggest time of year is the holiday season for films. So we are in the thick of a storm right now. And before we get into the top five, always a few notes about other films outside or whatever. First, the overall domestic box office is officially tracking to pass $10 billion this year for the first time since 2019, which is sick. The box office is having an insane year.
Great.
But I want to point out that it's doing so despite the fact that Supergirl, Jackass, Minions, Moana, and Evil Dead Burn all should have made at a minimum $280 to $300 million in their opening weekend gross. They all only combined 136 million instead of 280 to 300, and multiple of the films fell over 70% between their first and second weekends.
That's
So
bad.
the box office is succeeding despite some of these films that we thought would have been more successful having trouble. I feel like it's unfair to put Minions in there. I'll get to that when we get to the top five. But in general, these films not doing well.
Mm.
However, a film that's doing well, we have our second $1 billion movie
I don't want
of
to talk about it.
2026. I don't really want to talk about it either.
Let's skip this one.
No. Um, Michael has become the first biopic in history and the second film of the year to pass $1 billion worldwide. Matt, I wish he was here right now to laugh in our faces, rub his balls on us or some shit. You know
Fuck
what I mean?
Matt. Fuck the Lur's library. Fuck all this. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Go check out Lur's library. It's actually a really cool account.
He fucking showed us, dude. We have done this for 64 episodes,
Yeah.
and he fucking showed us.
He predicted this a while ago that
He
Michael
predicted
was
it when it
hitting
came
$1
out.
billion, and we said the way it's tracking, no shot. And it, to be fair, in our defense, it did take a long time to get there.
Yeah, it's in its where even is it? It's in its 13th weekend of release.
But at the end of the day, he was right and we were wrong.
Well, you know, the later release in Japan, where Michael Jackson was very popular, was a huge push. I think we underestimated this. Again, look, also in our defense, it is literally the first biopic to ever make $1 billion. It had never happened before. I was like, no way.
He should have bought like a lottery ticket or something after predicting that.
He could have put money on it, and he would be doing well right now. So, Matt, you showed us. I'm giving you your moment here, even though you're not with us this week. But
good job, buddy.
You got the best of us, so you will officially take over the box office dynasty next week. It is your show. Congrats.
We are done with the show.
We're done. Matt is taking over. All right, moving on. Right outside the top 5, but a film I still want to highlight is Obsession. It has not been in the top 5 anymore. Obviously, it is now in its 10th weekend of release. But it is officially at $442.5 million worldwide. It is tracking to finish its run between $450 and $460 million. And I just want to give it its props as it nears the end of its box office run. It is finishing as one of the most profitable movies of all time, the highest grossing original horror film of the century, and the 8th highest grossing horror film of all time at the worldwide box office.
It's very nice. I'm always down to give Obsession its flowers. You know,
Yeah.
Every week we could give Obsession its flowers. It's incredible.
So
incredible.
It's
story.
nearing the end after 10 weeks. You know, it's still out a few more weeks, but it's nearing the end of its run. And man, what a run! Okay. Moving into our top 5 films of the weekend of July 17th through the 19th, the 29th weekend of the year 2026, by the way. And in 5th place, in its second weekend of release, making $4.7 million, is the new film in the franchise Evil Dead Burn. So we didn't get a chance to highlight its opening weekend. I believe it opened in 4th place last weekend, so it didn't move down or up anywhere. Oh, no, it did. It moved down to 5th place. So Evil Dead Burn kind of hanging on. There's no big release next week, so maybe it hangs on another week. In 4th place, in its 3rd weekend of release, with another $13.6 million, is Minions and Monsters. So I actually don't think it was fair to include this with other films like Supergirl and all of that. Minions and Monsters has made $358 million worldwide. It is expected to finish over $400 million, and it had an $85 million budget.
It's pretty good.
People really have showed out for the new Minions movie.
I've been hearing good things about it, actually.
Yeah, it definitely has not, like, I don't know where that tracks compared to the others in the franchise. But you know, it's still, when you consider what it was up against, it's still a fairly impressive, you know, box office, I would say, especially on its budget.
Yeah, it also seems like the Minions characters are like an unlimited money glitch, and you could and unlimited content too. You can just make as many movies with them and make a shitload of money.
Facebook parents are always going to eat it up.
100%, dude.
In 3rd place, in its 5th weekend of release, with another $13.7 million, is Toy Story 5. This film currently sits at $957.5 million worldwide. It could very well become our third $1 billion movie
I think
of the year.
there's no doubt that it won't become whatever the fuck I'm saying. It will definitely get $1 billion. I
You're
did like
right.
I don't know why I added so many negatives. There's no doubt that it won't get that it will get $1 billion. I don't fucking know. It'll make
You were
$1 billion.
working on something there.
Yeah.
We'll check back there. Yeah, it'll get $1 billion. I'm pretty sure Toy Story 3 and 4 both made $1 billion, so
Yeah,
it
for
makes
sure.
sense. It'll keep it in line, and I would not doubt we get at least Toy Story 6. One other end to, like, you have the Andy trilogy and now you have the Bonnie trilogy. So
I agree.
would not be surprised. In second place, in its second weekend of release, a film that we didn't really get to talk about yet is the live action Moana. It made $17.9 million it made $95 million worldwide and $43 million domestically in its opening weekend. That was before it contended with The Odyssey. But it had a budget of over $250 million. So it is one of the biggest flops ever for a Disney live action remake. It has nearly sunk 60% in its second weekend because it lost all the IMAX screens. And Disney could stand to lose $150 million on this movie.
What did we expect, guys? Come on. I mean, look at it.
Didn't the live action Lion King, or am I making this up? Didn't it not make $1 billion?
I think it did.
And the live action Moana, $177 million. Like, that drop off to me is insane.
Like live action Lion King made $1 billion. Live action Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. I don't know about. We're sticking with Disney, fine, but I don't know about live action. How to Train Your Dragon, but
I don't think it. I think it made like 700 million, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, really just, crazy. I think it goes to show when you look at the box office this weekend, and of course, when we talk about number one for a second, when we talk about Obsession, Backrooms, all that, and then compared to like Moana, Mandalorian, and Grogu, I think audiences are making it very clear that movies that might have, might have flown like 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago are not going to pass as good enough today.
No, get
It's
with
not
the
good
times,
enough to
people.
just make Star Wars or Disney or Marvel or whatever. You know what I mean? You have to do it's not that the franchise can't make money, but it's not enough. You have to actually do something interesting, new. That's what people want. So speaking of that, in first place, in its opening weekend of release, is The Odyssey. Let's talk about the numbers. It opened domestically to $123.5 million. That is domestically, not even worldwide. It earned $17.6 million in domestic previews on Thursday. That is the most for any film this year so far. It was originally projecting to make $90 to $100 million when it made the 123.5. So it flew past its projections. It made $51.2 million on Friday. Again, still domestically. That is the second biggest opening day for a movie this year and the fourth biggest all time for an R-rated film. It is the highest live action opening day domestically this year as well, beating Michael. Michael, which we just said made $1 billion, opened to $97 million. The Odyssey opened to $123.5 million domestically.
This is making $1 billion. I'll put that out there now.
Can you imagine if this didn't and Michael did? I get Michael has more worldwide appeal, but
yeah, this is rated R. It's 3 hours long, so you have to show a lot less shows. But still, man, it's Christopher Nolan.
It opened to $264.1 million worldwide, which is the biggest opening of Christopher Nolan's career, surpassing The Dark Knight Rises. And it's the third biggest of 2026. So, I think that this is going to, especially when you consider the following, and it's going to be important that I break down more of these numbers after this point. It doesn't have any major release next week. The next major release is Spider-Man in 2 weeks. And Spider-Man will not threaten its hold on the IMAX screens.
Yeah.
And The Odyssey had the second biggest opening of all time for an IMAX release. it grossed $51.8 million in IMAX screens alone this weekend. Only Avengers Endgame did more in its opening weekend.
That is insane, dude. That is wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, it is big time stuff when you look at these numbers. And there was another one too. So I think Anne Hathaway, it's really interesting with her. She now has the top 2 biggest opening weekends worldwide this year for a live action film.
Uh, okay. The Odyssey and The Devil Wears Prada 2?
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. So it is, I mean, it is massive. It is absolutely massive. It is the 4th biggest R-rated opening in the US of all time. And you know what's funny? The 3 movies ahead of it are all 3 Deadpool movies.
Yeah, that checks out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the IMAX tickets accounted for 23% of the global total tickets sold. 23, almost a quarter of all the tickets.
Wow.
That's why Spider-Man is going to do very well. I'm not arguing that. All I'm saying is it's not going to threaten the Odyssey also doing very well.
Well, I saw The Odyssey in IMAX. You saw The Odyssey a plethora of times in IMAX.
I did. Yeah, for sure. What a movie.
I just can't believe we're even talking about it right now because we have been waiting for this movie for over a year. I went into our texts from like maybe March of 2025 or something, about us talking about how excited we were for the Odyssey, dude.
Dude, I remember like around the time that it was first announced, and before that, people were like, "What is the next Nolan movie gonna be? Is it like?" People were like, "It's gonna be a helicopter vampire movie." I was like, "What the fuck?"
What?
And then he announced the Odyssey. It's just such a bold thing for him to take on. We're about to get into it. Why don't I wrap up the box office numbers? The last thing I wanted to say to you
Sure.
about the Odyssey, because I didn't finish writing my notes, I was trying to find the ones that were most interesting. In its opening weekend, it's already surpassed the entire box office run of 4 movies that have recently come out: Disclosure Day,
Yeah.
Moana, Masters of the Universe,
Mando.
and Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl.
It hasn't passed Mando yet, but it will.
It probably will.
It already had, like, I saw one of the biggest Mondays. It had the biggest Monday of the year so far. It got another $18.7 million yesterday domestically.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So it is one of the biggest movies of the year. I am with you. I think it will make $1 billion. It needs to make at least 625 to break even. It was one of the most expensive R-rated films ever made, $250 million on production alone. But I think it will. Congrats to the Odyssey on winning the top of the box office. I think it'll obviously hold it next week. And then I want a take. Will Spider-Man steal number 1 in its 3rd week? Despite not having the IMAX.
Spider-Man's first week will be number 1 in the box office.
Okay. All right. You know what? I agree. But all right. So all right. Spider-Man will take over number 1 in the box office when it comes out. But I really don't think it is I think the Odyssey, like, I don't think it's going to hurt Spider-Man. I just think the Odyssey with the IMAX exclusivity has helped itself and will have enough longevity to stay competitive with Spider-Man.
Do you think the Odyssey will last more weeks in the top 5? Do you think Spider-Man would be out of the top 5 before the Odyssey?
I think it's too soon to tell. We still are really awaiting the first round of, reviews. We still don't really know what the initial reactions of the film are yet.
Yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man, but it could be terrible.
If it's mixed and people go into it opening weekend and they're like, yeah, it's not, it's fine, whatever, then yes, I think The Odyssey would hang on to the top 5 longer
Fair.
because people would rather go rewatch The Odyssey than Spider-Man.
Fair.
If people love it, if the initial reactions are, this is great, this is one of the best Spider-Man movies, and people go into it and they're like, this is awesome, I fucking love this movie, then because it was released weeks after The Odyssey, it might last longer. It depends how long The Odyssey can continue to hang on to the IMAX screens. But I know they've extended the run into mid-August.
Hell yeah.
So unfortunately we'll have to watch Spider-Man on Dolby or
Infinity Vision.
Or yeah, okay. Sure thing, Kevin. Feige, not Maloney.
Yeah. Thanks. Clear that one up.
But yeah, so that's how I think it'll go down. It really depends on the reaction to Spider-Man initially.
Okay. Valid take. Let's get into this fucking movie.
Yeah, now let's get into it. So that's the box office numbers of July 17th through the 19th. Let's get into The Odyssey. We have been, like you said, hyping this up.
Itching to talk about this movie together.
I mean, the very first episode, we talked about like Robert Downey Jr. and the whole thing going around with him taking Doomsday over Odyssey, and that clip was like our first
clip ever.
It was our first clip, and it went,
200,000 views.
And we were like, oh, this is easy.
I know, our first clip.
But and here we are. Like here we
are. Finally. So this is our spoiler review of The Odyssey, because we are. No, listen. People are like, how can you spoil a book from 2,000 years ago? Not everyone has read it.
It's pretty, first of all, like 3,000 almost. And
not everyone has
second
read it.
of all, sure, but it's very funny to me, the idea of spoiling something that is 3,000 years old.
Yeah.
I get that, but it's just, it's very funny to me.
I know, it's a stupid concept. It's like, spoilers ahead, fucking Homer is like in his grave. I've
read it. I have it right here with me.
I've also read it.
I absolutely love The Odyssey. I don't love the Iliad the same way. I also have the Iliad right here.
The Iliad's not good, in my opinion.
It's fine, but it's not as interesting to read. Like, it's a little duller. It's a little harder to get through and get into.
Yeah.
But The Odyssey is one of the great literature works of all time. It has been adapted time and time and time again in various forms, like the SpongeBob movie.
The SpongeBob movie is The Odyssey, dude.
But actual, like, straight adaptations of The Odyssey with the characters themselves, we have gotten tons of adaptations over the years in Hollywood and around the world, and it just has never really worked completely. There's been some really good work over the years, and now we have an adaptation, and we're going to give our ratings and review of it. It's exciting. I'm going to go first.
Okay, so spoilers ahead for The Odyssey.
Sure. I give it 10 plate lickers out of 10.
I give it 10 Travis Scotts out of 10. That, by the way, every time Robert Pattinson said plate liquor and they were like, everyone was laughing, so it was kind of crazy, dude. Like, that's a slur.
He turned that, and then he was like, these filthy beggars. I was like, he's putting a lot into that B.
Dude, he's putting a lot into that R.
Yeah,
like it was
he said beggars,
like, you plate liquor, and I was like, "Yo, chill."
He said
dude.
Beggars with a hard R. He didn't even go.
It was crazy. Anyway, 2 10s out of 10. That is a BOD first. I don't even think I gave Sinners a 10 out of 10. I think I gave Sinners a 9.9 or something. This is the first time you and I.
Sinners in your top 4 on your letterbox?
After rewatch, I gave it a 10 out of 10. But when I first reviewed it, it
was
a 9.9.
All right, okay.
Yeah. And by the way, I've considered putting The Odyssey in my top 4 already.
Yeah, man.
Fantastic movie.
I don't even really know where to begin. There is it's so dense.
It's a lot.
You know what I mean? Let's start at the surface and work our way down to the nitty gritty.
Yes.
And by that I mean, this is one of the great technical achievements I have ever seen.
It looks spectacular.
It truly. So as has been well documented, this is the first film in history to be fully shot on IMAX cameras. I don't know if you or anyone at home know the true significance of that, but Christopher Nolan, throughout his career, has been a big pioneer for the evolution of the IMAX technology. it started with The Dark Knight, and he has slowly put in more and more throughout the work that he has created. Actually, it might have even started with The Prestige, and he has slowly put more and more into his work until he finally got to The Odyssey, and he goes up to IMAX and he tells them, I want, this is like, if there's, I saw this in his interviews that he did, like he says, if there's ever to be a movie where we're going to do the entire thing on IMAX camera, this is the one. And the reason why it's so hard to do an entire movie on an IMAX camera is, one, it's very loud. It makes a ton of noise. You can't hear dialogue. And two, because you can only shoot for 3 minutes at a time because of the way that it runs the film. And so the fact that Christopher Nolan not only adapted one of the most difficult stories all time, doing so with pretty much entirely practical effects, which we'll get more into those in a minute, but doing so while innovating the industry as a whole, having new technology created so that IMAX cameras could literally make a movie on their own, and capturing the Odyssey the way he did is nothing short of utter film history right before our
He's
eyes.
literally pioneering it. It's crazy. It's
It's miraculous,
and
it's,
it shows so well.
It does. As you mentioned, I saw the movie 3 times. I saw it Thursday. I was like, I'm seeing this as soon as possible. I got out of work and I watched it. I like drove right from work to go see the movie.
Hell yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to see it again until Monday because that's when I have my next ticket. I got out of work Saturday. I checked. There was a showtime. I was like, I'm really itching. I felt it was like I was like addicted. Yeah, dude. I was like, there is actual crack put into this movie.
Oh, fuck yeah, there is.
I saw it a second time. Fucking loved it. And then Monday, the true honor of my life, I got to see it in IMAX 70 millimeter at Lincoln Square in New York City. Which is the format that it was truly intended for. Like regular IMAX screens, it's like digitized copies of the IMAX film. This is one of the only actual rolls of the Odyssey in the world. And I saw it, like the actual film reel. And it was, I mean, like, it actually was one of the greatest theatrical experiences of my entire life.
I'm sure, dude. I'm jealous.
You see the scale of the film. First of all, the aspect ratio is different from a regular IMAX. So having seen both, I can confirm you see the difference. You see more on the top and the bottom of the screen as it was initially filmed for, versus a primary IMAX or Dolby or standard. And it was just, I mean, the scale of this movie is massive. It's absolutely massive. And when you consider that aspect, the technological aspect, and then the practical aspect, I mean, Christopher Nolan does not use CGI. He does not use visual effects. And I think that's part of what makes this film sell, is that they're not acting in front of, I mean, the Cyclops, for example.
It's a dude.
It's a fucking puppet.
I thought it was a guy.
They have a guy doing some motion. I don't think it was even mocap. It was something. They had Bill Irwin, who was the voice of Tars in Interstellar, but they actually built a 60-foot tall Cyclops puppet.
That's crazy, dude.
They used to film.
Yeah, dude. I heard like Scylla was a little bit CGI because, they're monster tentacles coming out of a rock, but like it was like CGI touch-ups. It's never a fully CGI thing. There's a little bit of touch-ups on the practical effects, right?
Yeah, and then the whirlpool.
Yeah, Charybdis.
Charybdis. That was also practical for the most part. Matt Damon said that Christopher Nolan or whoever got on a jet ski. And obviously they had a tiny bit of effects to widen it, but they created a whirlpool with a jet ski.
That's insane.
They used practical effects on this film. The one that I really can't believe, and they said no, this was all practical, and it absolutely seems impossible, is the Cersei scene.
That's probably my second favorite scene of the whole movie.
And we'll get to, it really is one of the best sequences. That scene was also practical effects.
Yeah, she's
They
she's
used clay,
molding a clay like pig head, and it looks like she's turning them into pigs.
but it doesn't look practical. You can't tell it's clay. It just looks so good.
It looks, I mean, it looks real. Like
It
that's
looks
how it
real.
literally looks
Yeah.
real. And then if something looks so real, you'd be like, oh, that's obviously CGI, but
But
it's not.
yeah. But, and you know what? That's what I think what works in this film's favor from that technological standpoint is by not using really any CGI on the film, practical effects, like you would, the point I'm trying to make is CGI you would think makes something look more realistic, and that's why we thought it was CGI. But in reality, the proof is in the pudding. Practical effects make it look more real than CGI.
Yeah.
Because then people look at, like, and I'm not trying to get off track, but like the Doomsday trailer, there was a lot of criticism around, some of the visuals and the green screens and all that. And that's kind of been a thing with Marvel for a while. Christopher Nolan, though, on real sets, using real practical effects, no, and it tells, you know
It
what I mean?
looks
It very much
fucking
shows itself.
great.
Like, and another sequence that we're going to spend some time talking about too, the Hades sequence, that was filmed on a real, like, salt beach in Iceland, like
Yeah, the
real
Black
sets,
Beach.
real sets, real practical effects, groundbreaking filmmaking to capture it. I mean, what we get in the Odyssey is craftsmanship at its absolute peak.
This movie is so good, and it's actually hard. Like some people might want to be. I'm going to praise the story, right? Like this, like we could praise the way it's made, and this is one of the best, most well-made movies, if not the most well-made movie I've ever seen in my life. It was fucking just perfectly crafted, like you said. But and you praise the story, but I know it's based off of a 3,000-year-old book, right? But there are creative liberties with that either way. And the story is phenomenal. It's so hard for me to pick my favorite scene because you can have a great story and have it be poorly acted and it ruins it, or have it be poorly shot and it ruins it, or poorly created in the world and it ruins it. Christopher Nolan managed to perfect his cast. The actors perfected the way they managed their characters, the studio, everything around them, the environment, and then the story. And all of it works so well together. It's so hard to pick my favorite parts of this movie. It's all so good. Cersei's scene, the final scene with Odysseus back in Ithaca, the Cyclops scene might be my favorite. In Cyclops cave, I don't know, dude. I cannot. The Hades scene is so good. I do not know what is my favorite. This movie is so good.
I remember I texted you the day that you were seeing it. I had already seen it twice at that point, and you were going to go see it. It was on Sunday. And I said to you that there were like at least 7 or 8 sequences that had me like levitating out of my chair in the theater.
The Siege of Troy, bro. Oh my God.
The Siege of Troy, the Hades scene, the Cyclops scene, the Cersei scene, the Lastergarian scene with the
giants.
The giant army, in the iron armor. The ending, obviously, like there were so many scenes that were just so large, and like so many scenes that you can argue are some of the pinnacle of Nolan's entire career.
Oh yeah.
And then what I love about this movie, though, as we transition to the story of it, for all the big set pieces and action sequences that you get, and all the scenes where they're on the ocean and Poseidon is like attacking them, with the storms and all the craziness that you see. This 3-hour epic leaves so much space for intimacy. You have a lot of quiet moments of reflection, of grief, of trauma. You see that, I love that the majority, it's such Chris Nolan, such a Chris Nolan way to make this a non-linear story, to make it to tell the story through the flashbacks as Odysseus tries to regain his memory of what happened
on Calypso's island.
It's such a Nolan way. You look at Oppenheimer, you look at Inception and just Memento. Like, you look at a lot of these other Nolan films that, follow that same formula of nonlinear storytelling, and he just makes it work and so well, because instead of just going from plot point A to B to C, you know what you need to know when you need to know it, and it lets things come together. And then in the Odyssey, you have all these crazy sequences, and then you have a lot of like moments that really just bring things together, like Argos, for example, his hunting dog, when he comes home and sees him, he's been waiting out in front of the palace, and he pets him one last time before Argos passes away. He waited 20 years to see him. It first of all fucking has me tearing up, but
Yeah,
also that moment where Tom Holland,
he
Telemachus puts it
realizes.
all together. This is Odysseus. It's like you have these connections, and that's what really makes the film so satisfying.
By the way, when he first gets Argos, why are they throwing dogs off cliffs?
Bro, Eumaeus just fucking chucks the
Dude,
dog.
he tosses one, and then he's about to. And by the way, Odysseus is just watching him just kill a bunch of puppies for no
No, it
reason.
was just one. He saves the second one.
Yeah, but how many
He
did he
picks
throw
up.
before that? It's a litter
We
of
we
puppies. There's
have
probably
to
10 of
assume
them.
that was the first one, I guess.
But
We
he,
have to give him the
but
benefit
that
of the
means he
doubt.
killed the other ones because if it's a litter of puppies, there's at least like 8 of them probably.
But that's no. Well, I don't know. We don't know what happened to the other.
He
That's a good point.
tosses
We
one
really
off a
don't know what
cliff.
happened to the other dogs. And the
That was
dog's just like,
fucked up,
woo.
dude.
Yeah, it was fucked up. But you know what?
And it's like totally just skipped over.
It was just like I agree. I thought that too, but
I
I thought that was funny.
there are a lot of liberties in this movie that people had problems with. I saw people complaining that there were not enough gods in this, and I don't actually mind this because although the gods are the overarching reason that this is happening, really it's a very human story. It's human versus nature and human versus monster. You know what I mean? Like it's just him trying to get home, and it's a very human
it,
story. And
it,
you
it
see Athena, and you don't even know if Athena's really there or not.
it's really beyond human versus nature, human versus monster. It's human versus themselves. It's human versus human is
Yeah,
what the story is really about.
and you see that a lot when he goes to Hades. It's a whole conversation.
But um I don't mind the liberties taken either,
No,
point
and you
being.
can't do a direct adaptation. And they took out Poseidon and they took out Zeus and they took out Hermes, but I don't think you need them. I like kind of the ambiguity of the gods. I
But you
think
know what
that
also
makes
too
sense.
is Nolan, I think, was asked about that, and he said it's also like the story of how they would see it. They wouldn't just see the gods all the time running around doing whatever, you know
Exactly.
what I
And
mean?
that's a line that Zendaya as Athena has because he's like, "Oh, why do the gods show themselves in confusing ways?" And she's like, "What's confusing about fire? What's confusing about death? What's confusing about love?" Like
Mhm.
nothing. Like that's a perfect uh thing to encompass of why the gods aren't there because they are showing themselves in ways that we can't see.
You know, it's brilliant. One of the other scenes, one of the best scenes in this movie, I know you can say about a lot of them, but he's talking about quiet, reflection of in this movie is when Odysseus is talking to Penelope about, he's pretending to be a Sinon, a
Yeah.
beggar. And he's like, going on about really what the movie is about, right? And you see Zendaya there, and it turns out like Athena. I mean, it's interpretive for sure, and the way I interpret it is that so Athena is taking the form of a priestess that he saw beheaded during the siege of Troy, and it ties into his regret, his grief, his moral, his complicity in the moral breakdown of civilization. um and so but to relate this to not to get too off track, to relate this to the gods at the moment, um I find it interesting because even talk about how we see the gods in this movie, we're seeing Athena through his eyes, and she is taking a specific form even. So there are a lot of different ways that the gods can be in the movie. You could very well, Poseidon is in this movie. You don't
Yeah,
see him. He's not. He doesn't take a human form, but he's the ocean,
he's
and
the
he,
antagonist.
in many ways, yeah, he really is. And you hear Zeus, the thunder, the moments that it chimes in. It's very clearly, it's very clear to me that the gods are playing a role, even if they're not taking human forms.
And I'm not convinced that Athena was ever there. I think there is a chance that sure she was there and taking that form, or he was so regretful that he's literally like personifying his regret into seeing her, the girl who he killed, who had killed, her face, and
It's
just assuming that
possible.
it's Athena.
It's
She
a,
never once
it,
says I'm Athena. He just assumes that's Athena, and he always prays to Athena.
She responds, yeah, that's entirely possible. I kind of took it as she was there specifically. Well, the movie opens with the quote, at a time of magic, of apparent magic.
Yeah, apparent.
So, yeah, apparent. Oh, well, fair enough. So I kind of took it as she was there and she was like haunting him, because it was Athena's temple, and you could go either way with it, and both could be justifiable, though.
I guess they do say apparent magic and then show us a scene of a woman actually turning people into animals, so it's not really so apparent, actually.
And there's literally Cyclops
pretty
fucking
straightforward.
running around.
And he is the son of Poseidon. You know what?
Before I want to get into the actual... no, wait.
Well, I actually have a couple... Out of a 10 out of 10 movie, I do have a couple negatives, but if you have some other stuff you want to talk about... I've a lot more positives. I'm not going to... This is quick negatives.
Okay, lay it on me.
I don't know if you noticed this, but see, it's hard to explain because this is still a 10 out of 10 movie for me. Like, I think Spider-Man 2 or Jurassic Park, those are my favorite movies of all time. They are perfect movies for me, but they're not perfect. Like there are mistakes in them, but I just overlook those mistakes because I
don't
love
think
them
any
so much.
movie's perfect.
Right. So like I love a movie so much, it can still be a 10 out of 10 for me, but there are things that I find wrong with it, but it's still...
It's really more of a nitpick. I mean, I have those
exactly.
too.
So like the first 2 scenes in this movie, I thought the editing was pretty bad. When Sinon wakes up and gets struck by the arrows into the horse, the editing was so off. I don't know if you noticed it. It just looked so weird. Like the arrows were just like out of, like they just appeared, like you didn't see them get shot, and it wasn't because they were off screen. Like they appeared and the noise was off. And then Telemachus was talking in the next scene. His mouth was not moving. You see Tom Holland in the background while it's focused on Robert Pattinson, and his mouth is just not moving. And then a few seconds later, it goes to him, and he's continuing the same conversation, and his mouth is moving.
Immediately, I'll be honest with you, in 3 watches, I never noticed that.
Next watch those first 2 scenes, and it's just the first one looks off.
I don't think I disagree with the Sinon scene. I just can't disagree with the Tom Holland Telemachus one because I never picked up.
You got
on
it, so. But so when I first watched this movie, I was like, oh shit, is this gonna be a bad movie? Because I noticed 2 mistakes immediately. Never again. Nothing ever happened with the editing for the rest of the movie. If for some reason just the 2 first scenes were like jarring to me.
I don't know. I don't know if I completely agree, but I respect it. Jennifer Lame is going to be in contention to win the Oscar for Best Editing.
Yeah, because I mean that was first 5 minutes of a 3-hour movie, so like the other 2:55 were fantastic. And then I found myself wanting more out of a 3-hour movie, which is I've never done before. I've never wanted more of a 3-hour movie. I would have liked some more scenes on Calypso's island. I think would have done the movie a little more justice. They say that she fell in love with him after 7 years, and we only see him in the last 5 minutes, and like she suddenly is like, oh, I'll let you free. But like I would have liked a little bit more of a build up to why she's letting him free and why, because in the book Hermes convinces her she's like a rapist, and Hermes is like, you gotta set him free, like he needs to get home, and Hermes convinces her, and in this one she just decides to set him free. I would have liked to see that relationship and why she decided and why she loved him. And there's something else. There was one more thing. I can't remember, but those were some things that I was like, oh, I could have used a little more of Calypso's Island.
I get it. I don't know if use more is the way I would put it. I mean,
they're nitpicks.
The film pretty much gives us everything it possibly could. I think there's enough time dedicated to Calypso. Maybe they don't use the time properly. Maybe. But
yeah,
it worked for me still. Like, I get the nitpick. I do. I completely get it. I just don't know. It's still pretty much, it worked for me. I don't know what to say.
It's also a testament of like how good this movie is that I was literally watching it. I've never once wanted a 3-hour movie to be longer. When I was watching Oppenheimer, I was like, oh, cool, it's over. I never was.
Yeah, but that's not really, in my opinion, I don't know if you can count that as a negative.
No,
I'm saying
it's a testament to the movie. That's a testament to this movie that I wanted more out of a 3-hour movie. That's
sure.
That's a positive. It's a little nitpick of that. I wanted this specifically, but honestly, you could have had that, and I still would have been like, give us some more monsters, dude. Give us some cool shit, dude. I want more of this. Give him more time on Hades, man. That was sick.
Because the film really, for a good portion of it, it just is like one big set piece scene after another with the Cyclops.
They don't learn their lesson at all. It's, oh, cool, an island. We're so lucky. Oh, fuck, this island's filled with monsters. We're so unlucky. Oh, cool, another island. We're so lucky. Oh, shit, there's more monsters.
My only real negative, and it's still gonna... I thought Tom Holland was fine. That's why it's like a half negative.
He surprised me. I thought he was really good.
I thought he was fine. I don't think he was bad. It didn't like take me out of the movie at all. I thought he was, the sad little prince boy role, I thought he played it very well. I think it's less that Tom Holland, it's not that he wasn't good. No, I'm doing the double negative. It's not so much that he wasn't doing good. It's that everyone around him was doing even better, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he was fine. Like, again, I thought it was fine. I thought he felt a little stiff at times, maybe emotionally lacking in a way that other actors are. He still has moments that really land. Obviously, the Argos scene that was aforementioned was great. But especially in the first half of the movie, it just came off as a little emotionally disconnected compared to mostly every other role in the movie. But I thought it was fine. He didn't take me out of it by any means.
See, I disagree. I thought he really surprised me. I thought he did really well. But I get what you're saying.
The three performances, and there are a lot that I think really stand out in this film. But the four performances that I would like to really highlight, obviously Matt Damon, who I think it's the best performance of his career.
It's incredible.
He will definitely be a contender for the Best Actor Oscar. I would say John Leguizamo.
I think he was my favorite.
As Uranus, that completely surprised me. And I was surprised by how much he was in the movie.
Yeah. Blind ass dude.
Sizable role. As Eumaeus. I would also say Samantha Morton, again, as Cersei. Now, she didn't have a lot of time. She kind of comes in, does her thing, and leaves. But it is so impactful. She has she really completely steals the show. It is terrifying. One of the best sequences. She is marvelous in that movie. And Elliot Page as Sinon, I thought was one of the big heart, outside of Odysseus, one of the true heart and soul characters of the film. I think his performance, especially in the Hades scene, is one of the best scenes in the entire movie because of his performance. It is heartbreaking and incredible. And that's not to say that there wasn't other incredible performances.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway on that.
Anne Hathaway is great in this movie. Robert Pattinson is great in this movie. Himesh Patel is great in this movie.
And he had a lot of screen time.
He did have a lot of screen time, also more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot to praise, a lot of people to praise, but Damon and Leguizamo and Morton and Page were the four. If I had to separate from the rest of the pack, those four are my takeaways. Like, after each watch, they were the four that I kept coming back to and being like, holy shit, career work from every single one of them.
I also found I totally agree. I found myself having questions and trying to justify those questions with, oh, well, it's based on a book. So they do it in the book. That's why it's in the movie. But I don't think that's valid because there are changes from the book. So why is the Trojan horse built? Two things about the Trojan horse. Why is it built on the water where half the people are drowning? Just move it 10 feet inland.
Right? Because they said it needed to be believable to be a gift.
But why can't it be 10 feet forward and be believable? I don't get that.
I don't know. That was their reasoning. You have to think about how they would think of it back then. They were like, well,
Okay.
it's from Poseidon, it's from the ocean, right? So
Ooh.
it's got to be.
You hear that thunder?
Dude, that's timing. I'm right. My point's proven.
That's Zeus. No,
That's Zeus
shut
saying
up.
I'm right.
But also, okay, another question about the Trojan horse. How did Sinon not see them get in the horse? Did they say, "Hey, look over there, real quick. We're gonna go sail off," and he turned around and they ran into the horse? Like he saw them
That's
build
a good
it,
point, but I think you can
and he was
just...
next to them.
That's a good point. I will say
That's
a
a
good
big
point.
of like, you betrayed me. You left me
But
to die.
it's very easy to say Sinon was in Troy because they were.
No,
They had been.
He was on the beach with them for 10 years.
Oh, that's true. That's before. I don't know. I mean,
I was watching that. Like, how the fuck did he not see them all get into the horse? He just thought they all left. Like, where'd they go? They had no ships.
Maybe he didn't.
They used their ships to build the horse.
It's a good point, but I don't think that necessarily ruins anything. But
no, it doesn't. It's just questions I had, and I was like, well, maybe that's what happens in the book. But I was like, but change that, because that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to rationalize it. You could say that Sinon was like on one of the ships at the time, maybe, or something.
But they used the ships to. But he's on the beach.
Like, he knows they're building. Well, I mean, he knows they're building the horse. He just doesn't know that people are in the horse.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, where he was when they got inside, and then he just came back and everyone was gone. He's like, "What the fuck? Where is it? Where is it?"
Well,
like,
he thinks everyone else sailed away.
So, like,
he knows that. He just doesn't know people are in the horse.
It's funny to just think about what would have happened. Like, they would have been like, "All right, we're gonna leave while you're sleeping," or something. Like, you can't be here when we leave. And then they leave, and he comes back to the horse, and they're just gone because they're in the.
But no,
horse.
Sinon knew that they were leaving. That's what I'm saying.
But obviously, they didn't leave in front of him. So where was he when
we don't know that. He just doesn't know that they were in the horse.
Well, obviously, they didn't leave in front of him because they never left.
Well, they left.
Right, so they didn't do it in front of him because they're in the horse. So, like,
but not everyone was in the horse. There was all the people who weren't in the horse, and he knew he knew about the plan. He was there when they were building. He just didn't know that part of the plan. He knew
I just
that
thought
they
it was
were
so
building
funny.
the horse.
I was like, how the fuck did this guy miss this part? They're all right there.
Also, I don't know. I think we're spending more time on that little detail.
We are, but a small little detail that I'm sure you caught is, this is why Christopher Nolan's a fucking goat, dude. When they're stabbing the Trojan horse, which, while we're talking about it, and I think it was Odysseus or one of the characters,
no,
gets the blood, wipes the blood off the
as he's
knife,
pulling the sword off.
As he's pulling the sword off. Not even, like, people I was with didn't even catch that. I was like, dude, I caught it. It's such a small detail that's not focused on. Incredible filmmaker.
Not to even go back to the filmmaking of it, but like the filmmaking of the Trojan horse sequence, insane. They had Christopher Nolan and Voight van Hoytema, the cinematographer.
What did you just say? Hoyt van Hoytema?
Voight. See, yeah, Hoyt van Hoytema, I think is actually how it is.
Okay.
Hoyt.
They were in the actual horse.
They went into the actual horse.
John Berthel was drowning in there.
Yeah, I know, and it was like freezing apparently.
Dude, those unlucky bastards who had to be on the bottom while Odysseus is just at the top chilling.
Dude, this had to be such a difficult movie physically for them to make.
Totally, bro.
Because they're on the ocean. They're actually in the horse. Like
they're traveling literally around the world. I mean,
they went to like Iceland, Scotland,
Morocco. They're recording everywhere. But that siege of that Trojan horse scene when they're escaping. First of all, Agamemnon we haven't even talked about. Aura farms this whole fucking movie.
Dude, I can't believe there were people bitching about his appearance when it's like,
well,
bro, he's literally. Yeah, he's literally Greek Vader.
He looks so. I literally forgot what happened in the book, and when I watched the trailer, I was like, "Is Agamemnon the villain?" I was like, "I don't remember," because he looks so cool.
Agamemnon's barely in the Odyssey, and that's why when people were complaining we should have had more of him. No, he's barely in the Odyssey.
No,
this is his part to play.
He's in it perfectly. I loved seeing him in Hades, but him walking during the siege of Troy and just standing there. Incredible.
Oh, another thing before we get to because I want to talk about really the story that Nolan told here, and why I find this film so fascinating beyond everything we've already really talked about. But before that, Ludwig Göransson,
Oscar.
I mean,
Oscar.
he made that entire composition without an orchestra. They just used old ancient instruments, gongs, and synth sounds to recreate more of a uh mythical slash historically appropriate score. Like they didn't use an orchestra. It is some of the most
Wow. I did
like
not
in
know that.
yeah, it is some of I mean, he is literally redefining film score composition with the work that he has been giving us over the last several years. And he is already, in my opinion, in the GOAT debate alongside John Williams and Hans Zimmer.
I
Like
mean, I
he
think
is
he's in the top 3.
I I think in 10 years' time, if he continues to give us as remarkably original kinds of scores as he is in different methods, these new inventive ways, like we talk about Nolan pioneering, Ludwig is pioneering. He could pass Williams. I mean, John Williams is a legend and always forever will be. But in like 10 years, if Gorenson's output doesn't decrease and he continues to up the challenge in the ways he's inventing new kinds of film compositions,
Yeah.
will that overtake the popularity and the iconicness of John Williams scores? It might. It would be a fair debate.
And if Ludwig keeps working with these fantastic directors, dude, I mean, making these incredible films that are seen by everyone and loved by anyone, I mean, he's up there, dude. It's incredible. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm gonna primarily save the Oscar talk about this till the end.
Okay.
And I do want to take a couple minutes at the end of the Odyssey segment to get your thoughts at this point in time about its Oscars chances. But just since you mentioned it, Ludwig Göransson, he just won the Oscar last year. It would be his third Oscar in 4 years. Do you think the Academy will reward Ludwig Göransson again?
If they're smart,
And
if
let
they
me
have
ask you
ears.
this. Oppenheimer, Sinners, and The Odyssey, his last 3 compositions, what is your favorite of the 3?
It's
Specifically the music.
The Odyssey, Sinners, Oppenheimer, in that order.
Wow. Oppenheimer third. Wow. Yep. Oh, man. I hate to say, but I think Sinners is third for me in terms of, and it's such a brilliant film score. It was my favorite of the year last year, even.
So,
but
what's first?
I think for me, it's Odyssey, Oppenheimer. But Odyssey and Oppenheimer are so close. Oppenheimer, like I was listening to the music like last week a little bit.
It's
before,
great. It is great.
Great. I think undersells it. It is phenomenal. I think the Odyssey. I have been obsessed with this music. I've been listening to it for days since it came out. It's just so. Again, I know I said it. The way he made this music without an orchestra, and you listen to that Hades sequence. Oh my God, it's insane. Or the Odysseus theme, or the Trial of the Bow, or the Troy music.
The bow, man.
With the twang,
ding.
Yeah, it
so
really.
Good.
It was like a character of its own. The music.
Insane. Even just jumping off music for a second, just the sound design in general with the bow and Polyphemus's scream was horrifying, and the noises you would hear from the monsters. And dude, it was crazy. I mean, the Cyclops scream was genuinely something out of a fucking horror movie.
Yeah, and it was terrifying.
It was terrifying, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cool. And then, the sound design in this movie is spectacular.
I completely agree. So I want to move over now. We were talking about, because we pretty much covered all the production bases. So I want to talk more about the adaptation of the Odyssey and the story that Nolan is telling here. Because you bring up a good point earlier in the segment about the Odyssey, him taking liberties. Of course, that's always going to be the case in any adaptation. It's never one for one. And if it's one for one, then you don't have anything interesting to say or do with the material.
He's a creator, exactly.
It reminds me of the old Freddie Mercury quote before he died, when he was like, "You can do whatever you want with my music, but just don't make it boring." That's like the way I look at it. So when I look at The Odyssey. You know what the first thing that comes to mind is, and I'm not the only one. I wasn't the only person with this observation. You might have as well had it. This really works as a companion piece to Oppenheimer.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they
I saw
really
some stuff about this
go
online.
it was the first thing I noticed when I watched it Thursday, and then when I went online after, I saw other people noticed it too. Um because both films are these serious contemplations about humanity's ability to save themselves, you know, from each other and from themselves. Um, and in this film, Nolan is really speaking to the fundamental principles of respect and hospitality and how these principles bind our society together. And he warns us about what happens when that breaks. And it's so he's telling this story through Zeus's law and the sea people and the regret that Odysseus has about his creation of the Trojan horse and how it kind of represents the fall of the Bronze Age, and the rise of a new, more dangerous kind of Iron Age, which is even really represented in the Lacergonians, the big people,
Yeah, the
because they're
Giants.
wearing the iron armor and they're aggressive, they're cannibals. And I really think that he turns that into this metaphor of that fall of the Bronze Age, where the sea people and are, people are turning against one another. And he kind of has these quotes, Matt Damon as Odysseus does, about like how all that is sacred between us is lost, and he pins that blame on himself. It really speaks to Christopher Nolan's outlook on the world today. And it works as a companion piece when you think of Oppenheimer and what Oppenheimer is, which is J. Robert Oppenheimer, really reflecting over the course of 3 hours over his role as the creator of the atomic bomb and this idea that he is guilty and responsible for dooming humanity. And Odysseus really feels the same way. And so I find it fascinating how they work as companion pieces and where Nolan is and at this point in his career as a storyteller and as a filmmaker and just what he is trying to say about humanity and the direction that he sees us going in as one of the top artistic visionaries of our time.
Yeah, I didn't actually catch that comparison, but I saw some people say it online, and it really, really works. I mean, you nailed it. Like Odysseus breaking Zeus's law is just introducing chaos to the world, and
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer creating the atomic bomb is also a way of introducing this new form of chaos, like mutually assured destruction. And that is what breaking Zeus's law in Troy was. And there's some great quotes from them. I don't even remember. He says, like, we broke Zeus's law in Troy, which means we broke it for the rest of the world or something like that. And it was really beautiful. And it is a truly great comparison because they do have similar regrets and they both are at war and they both believe in the moment it's a necessary evil, and then at the end they just think what they did was wrong, and the time they get to reflect on it really changes them.
You really, I think the sequences in each film that I think really binds us together. In Oppenheimer, the Harry Truman scene when he's at the White House
Uh-huh.
and he confides in the president that he feels he has blood on his hands, and Truman takes out, the cloth and kind of like flies it in his face. You see in that moment, and then of course at the end when he's talking to Einstein and he's saying, when I said I thought we might end the world or like if we push the button, and Einstein's like, yeah, and Oppenheimer says, I think we did, and then he sees, the explosions. One of the best endings I've ever seen in any movie. And that really matches up to like the scene when Odysseus is talking to Penelope and they're talking about Troy, and she says, oh, the songs must seem silly to you. He goes, no, they make me sad because of
Make me
what was
cry.
lost. Yeah, they make me cry because of what was lost. And she goes, the lives, and he's like, and the years. And it's the both of them, to your point and mine, what again are this reflection of a protagonist, a person who was the direct reason why civilization is now altered forever. They feel like there's blood on their hands. For Oppenheimer, the blood of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in his hands, and for Odysseus, the blood of Troy is on his hands because he was the one who came up with the idea of the horse. So it really is this, like, the two sides of one coin here from Christopher Nolan, and for him to create these two epics based off of American Prometheus and The Odyssey, and turn great literature into modern epic classics that are not just large in scale but so intimate and telling of the place that we are at as a humanity, and doing so in such different time periods and still getting the same point across. Although arguably with like Oppenheimer, I think is arguably a more pessimistic ending,
Uh,
and The Odyssey, I would argue in a second, is more optimistic about it. But in general, they both get that idea across, and it is amazing.
yeah, and it's not even just even those direct consequences of Japan and Troy, but it's also the acknowledgement that the world is forever altered. And especially see that when Penelope realizes that Odysseus and his men are the sea people.
Hmm.
And the things they do to survive, and things they do to innocent villages and people just for food, just for shelter, things like that. That is, I mean, they broke Zeus's law around the world, and that is the point of that. And you obviously see that with Oppenheimer. The world is totally changed once they push that button, and just like Odysseus, the world has changed once they break Zeus's law in such a major way. So yeah, I think it's a great and valid comparison for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I think with the ending of Oppenheimer, it's a little more pessimistic, with the explosions. The one of the final shots, you literally see the atmosphere burning up, and then
Yeah,
he closes his eyes. Um, I think that is a little more of a pessimistic outlook of, like, we're doomed. And then the ending of the Odyssey, yes, it's him staring at the burning horse, similar to Oppie staring at the water, but where the difference is the somewhat optimistic hope of Odysseus and Penelope sailing out west, escaping the chasing sun to
yeah.
honor the fallen. There's a little more of an optimistic outlook to the future with that one, but both
There's a
getting the
new
same.
king.
Right,
Yeah,
so, it's just fascinating to see Christopher Nolan do this, and to do it at the level that he has. And you know what I also find very interesting, beyond the way these two films work with one another, beyond the story of him in these last two films, kind of warning humanity about, our moral failings, about the horrors of war, and the way that our communities fall apart when we break that trust, when we break those, moral pillars of society. But he also has a common thread within a lot of his movies, where his protagonist, um, is like a character lost, trying to return home, not just home. I'm not just making the Matt
it's a
Damon
Matt
genre
Damon
joke. It's a
thing.
Matt Damon, like, it. When you look at protagonists of Nolan's past, they're either lost in time, they're lost in space, they're lost, in the world, they're lost in a dreams,
They're lost in Gotham
dreams, and
City.
then lost in Gotham
Made a wrong
City.
turn.
Honestly, maybe the scariest one to be lost in.
Yeah.
And all of these protagonists have that one thing in common, which is to return home, and find comfort for pain and forgiveness for their sins. Like, Cooper's trying to get home to his family, um, and obviously, Oppenheimer is, lost in, kind of his ideas, and obviously Odysseus. I just think that there's an interesting connection there with his protagonists, and kind of the kind of stories of characters he's telling.
Yeah, I think it's also a good way to have a character go on a physical journey, but also an emotional journey of like, I'm trying to find my way home, but I'm also trying to find out who I am and like discovery of the self. And I think having them kind of go to where they originated is a good kind of journey to put them on if you're doing a discovery of the self kind of thing. I don't
Mhm.
know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but that's how I'm kind of looking at it.
No, I get what you're saying.
But this movie's
Yeah,
just fucking mind blowing, dude. Oh, it's so
yeah.
I have not stopped talking about it to people like at work, to my friends. Like I I also again I to just talk about how much I love this movie. That when I watch a 3 hour movie, I'm never immediately like I want to watch this tomorrow. And I don't know how you are immediately after a 3 hour movie, but I don't think I've ever been like that after a 3 hour movie. Maybe
I
Avengers
mean, I watched
Endgame.
it 3 times the
I know, but
opening
maybe Avengers
weekend.
Endgame. But this movie, I was like, I need to watch this again as soon as possible. And I'm
Yeah,
not like
man.
that.
This movie was a cinematic achievement of heights we have never realized before. It truly like it's an instant classic. I
Yeah.
feel like people when they like I don't feel that way, but there are people who feel like you can't dub something a classic right away. That time is a factor. And time is it's not that time is never a factor. But I think that the true litmus test is when a movie comes out and you just feel it. You just immediately know this is one that we're going to be talking about for a long time. I
I've been
felt that way
feeling it.
about Sinners last year. I felt that way about Oppenheimer 3 years ago. And I absolutely feel that way about The Odyssey this year. I mean, it it is just terrifying. It is fun. It is sad. It is enlightening. I mean, it is truly it is further proof that Christopher Nolan is arguably the greatest filmmaker of our time. Like it is definitely a fair argument.
I think now the question is, where does he go from here? Like Christopher Nolan for the past decade, over a decade, has been making a movie every 3 years, I think. And I think he said that his next movie will come out in the next 3 years, or he's planning
Well,
on it.
he said he needed a break, and I completely understand because this must have been very tolling.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I, you know, I there was I if 3 years is right, we would get one in 2029. I wouldn't be surprised if people have to wait a little longer than that. And it's perfectly, you know what, he can afford to take his time.
I'll let him take a break. But I just genuinely can't wrap my head around what he can do after this.
Well, I want to see a Christopher Nolan horror film now. Now
After that Cersei scene,
when you see that Cersei scene and the Cyclops scene, I absolutely think he could do a horror film and make it so insane. And so I was thinking, well, what would he do? Of course, he could do an original. If he was to adapt something, though, and this is something that people online have also been saying, I agree, Dante's Inferno.
I don't know
That would
anything about
be
that.
nuts. You don't know Dante's Inferno?
Never read it.
Oh, dude, I read this one in high school. It is a really good book. It's about the journey through the 9 circles of hell. Was it
Oh,
9,
I've
right?
heard
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that you know the film As Above, So Below. That's kind of like that's a Dante's Inferno adaptation for sure.
I'll watch anything
Um,
Christopher Nolan makes. So
I want a Nolan horror movie. I think that he has been teasing it for some time. Every time, you know, he loves Obsession, he loves Sinners. I think the world is ready for a Chris Nolan horror movie. I think he would make an incredible horror film.
did you see he was rapid fire questions in 1 minute? And would you ever make another superhero movie after Batman? No. Would you ever retire? Are you planning on retiring from directing? No. Would you ever make a Star Wars movie? Pass.
I think I saw that actually.
I think that there is a world where Christopher Nolan makes a Star Wars movie because he didn't want to shut it down completely. He said no more superhero movies. He will never direct another superhero movie. He said it. Pass on Star Wars is really interesting to me.
Here's the thing. Obviously, I would love it. It would not be the top thing I want to see him do. I prefer Nolan working in his own realm and not in the realm of a franchise anymore. As much as the
He could
Dark
bring it
Knight
back to
trilogy is
life,
great,
man.
I I would rather see. I don't know. I miss when Nolan and his brother were writing like their own original stuff. I would
Yeah.
rather see that. You're right. Filmmakers of that stature, of course, I love Star Wars. He would make probably the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. But I just think I would rather see him do something. I mean, we've seen his space movie. We've seen Interstellar. Is it
It's a
going to be better than that? No, it won't.
no shot.
So personally, if he did it, I'd be super hyped. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But I'd rather see him do a horror or a Western because he's never done any of those genres before.
I'm just holding on to the idea that it's possible.
I guess. I would be surprised if Nolan would do another franchise unless they throw a lot of money his way. Like
Dude,
a ton.
if anyone wants Nolan to do anything, they better throw a lot of money
And
his
he
way.
can do anything he wants. Like he's the only filmmaker that can get the budget that he gets and the scale that he gets to play with. Like he is one of one, you know.
And the cast, man. I mean, he's pumping out celebrities like nobody's business, dude. He's getting
Mia Goth was like all she was Penelope's like
just
mistress aide,
barely in the movie.
Yeah,
Lupita Nyong'o plays 2 characters. She probably gets 3 minutes of screen time in the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, you know, those 2 characters are not prominent in.
No, I know, but I'm just saying you got such a famous actress.
You got Lupita. Yeah, for sure.
For this,
You're
because
right.
he has that pull.
You're right, absolutely, because people want to do a Nolan movie. Why wouldn't you? That's the pinnacle of your career.
It's top notch, dude. Get Indy Neveready in one of those.
It's like funny to me because now Tom Holland. I saw a meme where it was Family Guy Peter in the straitjacket. It's like Marvel dragging Tom Holland back to the soundstage and the visual slop fest after he did a Christopher Nolan movie, and he's like, no. It's really funny to me.
His career is crazy. The fact that he's Spider-Man, which is like every young man's dream is to be Spider-Man, and then he's in a Christopher Nolan movie, dude, and he's in it a lot. Like he's a lot of screen time. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, what about Robert Pattinson's career though? That's true. He's Batman.
Yeah,
and then he did a Harry Potter movie, and then he's worked with Bong Joon-ho. He's worked with Christopher Nolan. He's in 2 Nolan movies. He's in a Robert Eggers film.
He's got like 10 years on Tom Holland though, so we got to give him some time.
That's fair. That is fair. But man, and he's got the obviously did the drama, and then he's got the Chris Hansen movie coming out primetime later this year.
That looks pretty good.
Which looks really good. Yeah. So no, you're right. You're right for sure. Dude, I mean, and I want to ask you, I guess, since we're getting towards the end of the Odyssey segment, unfortunately. So we have 8 months to go until the Academy Awards. A long ways. We still have all the films of the fall. There's still a lot of healthy competition coming this movie's way.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. Between Dune Part 3, between all the film festival releases, there are other movies that always emerge. So, but right now, where do you see the Odyssey's chances in the Oscars in general? Like, what do you think at this point in time it could maybe walk away with as we begin that journey?
I'm giving it a guaranteed Best Picture.
Wow, guaranteed.
Guaranteed Best Picture. Oppenheimer won Best Picture, didn't it?
It did.
Did Oppenheimer win Best Director?
Yes, it did.
I think Odyssey just is just an upgrade. I think it's such an upgrade from Oppenheimer. As good as Oppenheimer was, the Odyssey is just another level of filmmaking. I think it's winning Best Picture. I think it's winning Best Director. I think it's getting Best Score. And the only thing that I'm not sure about is the acting. I think every technical script, everything like that, everything in the back, I almost said the back rooms, everything in the background, not the forefront of the acting and stuff, everything in the background, I think it's going to win as much as it can. But I think
acting, a big sweep? You think it's not going to be competitive?
I think big sweep, but I think acting is where it might lose it. I think Fjord is going to be a popular one. I think Dune and Project Hail Mary was really good, and I don't know. Well, actually, Project Hail Mary might win like special effects. Obviously, Odyssey's not going to win that, but I don't know. What do you think?
I wouldn't say guaranteed. I would say it has a very strong chance as of right now. We have a long ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Christopher Nolan won for Oppenheimer, but that is exactly where I have some pause. Will the Academy reward Nolan 2 movies in a row? Believe it or not, that's only happened technically once ever.
Wow.
Ever.
But it's been
That a
3 years.
filmmaker, but it's back-to-back films for him.
Okay.
Like 2 straight films that Nolan made winning Best Picture. And the only time that happened was David Lean. David Lean, when he made Bridge on the river, Bridge over River Kwai, something like that, Bridge over River Kwai. And then the next film he made, and that won Best Picture. And then the next film that he made was Lawrence of Arabia. And then that won Best Picture.
Nolan's winning it, dude. I'm locked.
Yeah, the Bridge on the River Kwai. I've never seen that one. I need to, but and then Lawrence of Arabia. So that's the only time in history that a filmmaker has won with 2 Best Picture back-to-back pictures.
Who better than to beat that record and do it, and then do maybe a third time next movie?
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's not that Christopher Nolan doesn't deserve, that kind of that kind of, praise, that record. I just don't know if they'll do it. And also, another point that I saw that I thought was interesting was, will The Odyssey win with this current Academy, considering that it's this big blockbuster studio film, and the only 2 big blockbuster studio films to win in the last several years is Oppenheimer and One Battle After Another. They have done a lot of rewarding of more intimate indie films. Coda, Everything Everywhere All at Once was not a big studio blockbuster. Anora 2 years ago. So there is a Nomadland. So there is a large trend of them going with those kinds of movies. Now, that's not my opinion of if they should. That's just, I'm speaking to the recent trend of the Academy. So I do worry that, they gave him the Oppenheimer one. They gave One Battle the win last year. Are they going to go with it again? It might be too much to ignore. I mean, again, it is remarkable. I will be a front runner in the Best Picture race for sure. I think Matt Damon could win Best Actor.
I think so.
I think he could. He is going to have some competition. I know that the initial, kind of favorite so far has been Tom Cruise for Digger.
Yeah.
Now the movie hasn't come out yet. So, we're only speaking based on the precedent that it is Tom Cruise chasing an Oscar. But I think ultimately, like, you talk about Sebastian Stan and Fjord, I think he could be nominated.
Bro, drink some water, dude.
You know what? We've been yapping for a while. What can I say? No, I'm all right. I think Sebastian Stan for Fjord can be nominated. I think Ryan Gosling, Project Hail Mary, will do well. I think it'll ultimately come down to Tom Cruise or Matt Damon, though.
That's fair. That's very fair. No, I'm with that.
I think he has a good shot for sure. And then Anne Hathaway, I would love to see, if I had my choice in supporting actress from this movie, it would be Samantha Morton. As much as I love Anne Hathaway, they're both great.
Yeah, she's just not going to get nominated.
But she's probably not, because I would say Samantha Morton has an opportunity, but even if she gets nominated, she's not going to win. Anne Hathaway is probably the current front runner in Best Supporting Actress right now. So I definitely think it can win some acting. And I definitely think picture, it should be the front runner. The only other movie that I've been hearing this early that's strong right now like that, and I want to say it just so that there is like a physical record of it, because you remember around this time last year, I said Sentimental Value.
You were very...
Look how far it went. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to drop another one this year, and I'm going to guarantee... You want to guarantee? You gave me one, I'll give you one. I guarantee The Odyssey will be nominated for Best Picture. But that's an obvious, I feel like.
Yeah, you guarantee that the forks are in the kitchen type
Yeah,
shit.
right. I guarantee the sky is blue.
Yeah.
I guarantee one of the 10 nominees for Best Picture will be a film called La Bola Negra.
Yeah, I was just reading about that film yesterday, actually, with Penelope Cruz.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is coming in hot. It debuted, I think, at Cannes somewhere in the spring. It'll come out on Netflix in December. It is, I think, going to be a very, very, very strong contender. I'm sure, win Best International Film.
Yeah.
And I think I mean, obviously, this is an opinion sight unseen because I haven't watched it, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But I think if the Odyssey has anything to worry about at this point in time, it could be the fact that by next January, when voting begins, the Odyssey will have been a while ago, and La Bola Negra is going to be fresh in people's minds. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I've heard good things.
We'll see. But obviously, I would pick. I mean, I haven't seen La Bola Negra, but obviously, the Odyssey has been my favorite movie of the year so far.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah, it
if
goes
you
without
haven't
saying.
seen The Odyssey yet, this episode comes out on Wednesday. It's almost a week since the movie came out. Please go see The Odyssey. You will not regret it.
Yeah, truly one of the best movies of, not just the year, but I would say the decade.
I would say ever. This
Is
is
this
like
your favorite Christopher Nolan movie?
yes. Interstellar has always been my favorite. This is better than Interstellar.
Interstellar is still my favorite. This is probably number 2, but I was really torn between this. Like the first watch, I was like, no, I think it's still Oppenheimer, just because the ending of Oppenheimer I think is a little better. It is genuinely one of my favorite endings, and I was like, I don't know. But then after 2 more watches of the Odyssey, it's probably the Odyssey, just from a scale standpoint. But it's so close. I think that they are both true, genuine masterpieces. However, Interstellar is just my favorite. Like, it's just the one that sticks with me the most.
I think these movies, it makes so much sense that Interstellar is your favorite and Odyssey is mine, because as much as I love space, space is like your shit. Like you are obsessed with space, if that's a correct assessment. You love that shit.
Yeah, but it's beyond just that. It's also like there is something.
Yeah, I know. Like
Yeah,
it's not, obviously it's not a space movie. It's not, what I mean, but like as a generalization, like that is a theme that's just so catered to you. And I love history, and I've been obsessed with Greek mythology since I was a kid. Like I love Percy Jackson. Like that's my favorite book series ever. That always used to be everything I was obsessed with. That's why The Odyssey is one of my favorite things, because not only is it a great movie, but it's like super catered to my interests just before the movie even came out. That's like if Christopher Nolan made a dinosaur movie, I would eat that shit up. Like a dinosaur horror movie, dude.
Yeah.
I would love that.
You know what? You love history, and that's why Dunkirk is your favorite Nolan movie.
It's my least favorite Nolan movie. It's so boring.
It wouldn't be your least favorite movie if you'd seen Tenet. I don't understand. I know there are Tenet lovers out there. I'm sorry, I'm not one of you guys. I think it makes no fucking sense. It is illogical. It looks cool, but the sound design is terrible.
Oh my God.
And it doesn't make any sense. Dunkirk is boring, but at least it's like visually amazing and well crafted. And I guess Tenet, visually it could be really cool at times, but not good. But yeah, Interstellar, not only the space aspect, just the heart of the movie, the family dynamics, things like that. I don't know, it just resonates with me the most. But Odyssey and Oppenheimer are like basically tied for number 2. If I had to give one the edge, it would probably be the Odyssey. But they're basically both equal in my eyes for different reasons. Absolutely incredible work by Christopher Nolan. We are so lucky that we get to live at the same time as Christopher Nolan.
Imagine how people felt getting to live at the same time as Homer when he wrote the Odyssey. Like,
if he was real,
shit.
yeah, right. Like,
holy shit, this blind guy just wrote this book.
This fucking bangs. You know what dude. I mean?
All right, that's the Odyssey, man. We've been building up to that for a year. We are done.
You know, Homer has his own Letterboxd page.
Really? But what about Marge?
I don't know. She should. She deserves. What the fuck?
What do you mean Homer has his own Letterboxd?
Like, because he gets credited as an original writer on all adaptations.
No fucking way. Really?
If you go on Letterboxd under cast and crew and you just look up Homer,
that's hilarious.
And the funniest thing about it is, look at what his profile picture is. So I'm on his page.
Oh, it's his bust.
It's just the bust of Homer.
That's hilarious. That is so funny.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's like original writer, and it's like The Odyssey, and it's like, oh brother, where art thou? Because that's like an offshoot of The Odyssey. And honestly, SpongeBob should be here. It's not.
SpongeBob should totally be there.
Totally should be. So anyway, I just thought
all
that
right.
was funny.
That is
That is The Odyssey.
That is The
Yes. If you
Odyssey.
haven't seen it, go see it. I probably will see it again.
I'm
I don't know
totally
about
gonna
it.
see it again.
You know what I mean? But definitely before the end of the year. And
Yeah.
like when we get to the 2026 Boxies, our second annual awards, I'm sure The Odyssey is going to be all over that episode. And we're going to be still talking
We're
about
gonna
this
be
movie for weeks to come,
happy to
months to
talk
come.
about it.
We've been talking about it since the first episode, and we're going to be talking about it for the weeks and months to come as we track the box office, as we track the Oscar race, and just reflect on the way it's aging from its first weekend. So what a movie, instant classic, worth the price of admission every time.
Dude, imagine we were talking about The Odyssey for a year and it fucking sucked.
Yeah,
Like, that would have
right?
been so embarrassing how
Well,
excited
apparently
we
you
were.
thought it was going to for like 5
At the first 2 minutes, I was
minutes.
like, "Oh no!" And then it was the most
I
incredible
didn't.
movie.
I'm locked in from the start. But yeah, no, I agree. That would have been hilariously anticlimactic.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but it was awesome.
luckily, it lived up to the billing and more, and it is one of the defining films of our time.
And we saw another movie that we're going to review towards the end of this episode right now. The Invite.
We did. So before The Odyssey came out, The Invite came out a few weeks ago. We didn't get a chance to review it, so we're going to do that now. So spoilers ahead. Here are our ratings and reviews of the new hit film, The Invite. Do you want to go first for this time?
I guess I'll start. I give The Invite 7. Excuse you. I give The Invite 7 orgies out of 10.
I give The Invite 9.2 hamons out of 10.
That hamon did look pretty good.
But it wasn't actually hamon.
It was just bruschetta. What the
Yeah, it was
fuck?
just like some bruschetta. It's pretty fucked up. But if you tell her that, she's going to kill herself.
She would kill herself at dinner in front of everybody.
In front of everybody. So don't
This
tell
was a
her
funny
that.
movie. This was, you know why I give it a 7? Because I had higher expectations. Because everyone online, I don't know if you saw this, but saying it's like the most hilarious movie they've seen in a long time. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really good. It was well acted. But I just didn't love it. But I liked it. It's a good movie.
I'm going to reference a movie that I actually did a deeper review of a couple months ago on our TikTok in my Classics Corner segment. The film Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, the 1966 film. Basically, that movie is very similar. It's based off of a stage play, and it's about a history professor and his wife who entertain a young couple who are new to the university's faculty. And as they drink more alcohol throughout the night, you know, things come up to the surface, they fight, all this kind of craziness happens. It was one of the most remarkable movies that I have seen in a long time. It's one of my favorite movies. Actually, it was probably like my favorite new movie that I watched this year until The Odyssey. It's an incredible film, and it's very, very similar to The Invite in terms of it's primarily in one setting, and it's focused on two couples and their dynamics within the couple and between the two couples themselves. And so I guess because my expectations were shifted in that direction, it worked very well. I thought this was one of the best screenplays written of the year. It was written by Rashida Jones, which I think is hilarious. I didn't know she was a writer like that, I guess. I mean, I don't know if she wrote on 30 Rock or not, but it was a great screenplay. Very clever and witty. I love the dialogue. I love the flow of the film.
Yeah, it felt very natural.
Yeah, I love the way that you know, our four players here were interacting with one another. You know, just it was so incredible. Obviously Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen and Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton are all so good in this movie. And so funny. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the funniest movie I've ever seen, but I think the movie was really funny. It really was. It had me cracking up. Like Seth Rogen fucking icing his ass.
He was hilarious.
He's hilarious.
He was my favorite part of this movie.
I think the best performance in the movie is Olivia Wilde. And I think she should get a ton of credit for that. Also, she directs the movie. And I think all that she's doing here is such a step up from her previous outing of Don't Worry, Darling. Like, it is a massive improvement in all regards. The way that this is shot, you know, the way she kind of positions the characters within the scenes and utilizes the singular setting of the apartment to block it is just it just makes it so fun to watch. And it really shows that, like, no, Olivia Wilde is actually a really talented filmmaker, and she's a really talented actor. She is very good in the movie. She's very funny and chaotic, and very turbulent, you know what I mean, in her performance. And so they're all really good. I think all four main actors know exactly what they need to bring to the table, and they do it. But I think if I had to pick my favorite, as funny as Seth Rogen is, Olivia Wilde is really stepping above and beyond, to kind of be the linchpin of this whole film, both on screen and behind the camera. I'm absolutely impressed.
Yeah, I loved how all the characters bounced off each other. You have the two couples, and then you have like the couples within themselves, and then you have the couples against each other, which was really cool. I liked the just the sheer hate that Seth Rogen has for Edward Norton. His hawk, whatever. I don't even know what Seth Rogen's character's name was, but
no, Seth Rogen is Joe, Edward Norton is Hawk.
yeah. So I loved Joe's hatred towards Hawk is so funny, and the way that Hawk is like super timid and chill. Even when Penelope Cruz is screaming at him, and he's just like, "You're a fucking idiot!" Like he's like, "All right, relax."
Dude,
all right."
I love when he's like looking at the rug.
Yeah, and
he's
he's like, "I want to be naked on this rug," and she's like, "Go for it, go ahead."
It's like, well, it's fine by me, you know. This movie
I love
is
that.
so funny. This movie is so funny, in my opinion.
It's really funny. I did have higher expectations, but that's my own fault. I was expecting something more, I guess. Like this was a good movie, and I enjoyed it, and I'd watch it again, but it wasn't anything like super special to me. Like I wasn't like blown away by anything. Nothing really stood out to me besides like, oh, this is a good movie. Like, and I think I am in the minority because it's got great reviews. I watched it with my brother and he loved it. Like same as you, he gave it like 4.5 on Letterboxd. I don't know. For some reason, it just wasn't resonating with me, and maybe the way it should have.
I think you could like it more on a rewatch. Like if you wait a while and you're like, this is what the movie is, like this time you're going into it, like this is what it is. Let me take it at face value instead
Yeah.
of my own expectations. And I'm not saying you'll be where I'm at or where your brother's at, but I think you might be like, no, maybe I was a little like, like, maybe I was just a little too reflective on my own expectations and like, okay, this actually works really well for, you know, X, Y, and Z reasons. So that happens with me. Like that happens where I'm kind of envisioning it. So on a first watch, maybe it doesn't live up to the expectation that I set. And then down the road, I give it a rewatch and I'm like, you know what? No, but this still works for what they're trying to do. And I just
Yeah.
didn't necessarily appreciate it because I wanted something else.
Exactly. A rewatch can totally bring more clarity. Yeah. And then also a 7 out of 10 is not bad by any means. 7 out of 10 is a fine movie. So I don't have I'm not regarding it as like a great movie. I mean, it's in my, I don't even know where it is in my 2026 releases. It's not, it's towards the middle, I think, 7 out of 10. But still, I suggest anyone who hasn't seen it, go watch it. I mean, you will laugh. Like I did laugh, and I put it in my review. I know you saw it. The movie starts with like these images you can't really tell what they are, and you can see maybe some people moving, and all you hear is Seth Rogen's fucking laugh,
Yeah.
and it all literally nothing else. All you hear is, and that's all you hear, dude. And it's like actually a little haunting. I'm listening, I was like, oh fuck, dude.
It's like where you're looking around left to your
He's
right,
like,
like
yo, he's
where is
behind
he?
me, bro. He's
Yeah,
behind me.
Seth Rogen is creeping up. No, I absolutely love this movie. I mean, it is just so theatrical at heart. You know what I mean? Obviously, the way it's like blocked and framed, and the acting, and you know the editing, the way that it's cut specifically, and even the music kind of all add to this feeling. And maybe that's also just because I am comparing it to Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is theatrical in the sense that it's literally a stage adaptation. But I I'm absolutely like blown away by how much I enjoyed this movie, and I really think it is some incredible work. Um and I loved it. And I think it could get a best original screenplay nomination at the Oscars.
I was thinking that. I was like, some way, shape, or form, I think there's a chance it gets nominated for something.
It should. I think it should. I wouldn't even argue like Olivia Wilde could get in Best Actress. Maybe like she could be a contend. I don't know if she'll get in, but she can contend.
I just Seth Rogen wins a fucking Oscar.
No, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, he's
I mean,
winning a
he's
lot of
great.
Emmys, so maybe.
Yeah, he is, but the Oscars is a completely different ball game.
Yeah, you're right.
Completely different ball game.
I did. Yeah, my favorite part of this was the screenplay. I thought it was pretty magnificent. I thought it was really good.
It's
So
interesting. You know where this is ranked on my list?
where
It is ranked number 6 out of 27.
it is your sixth favorite movie that came out this year. For
Mhm.
me, it is 16.
And you know, it's funny. Like, it really could be 5 because it's very similar thematically in a lot of ways to the drama.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, the drama and the invite, I think I just preferred the theatrical experience I had with the drama a little more. But they're both these cleverly written couple dynamic films. Um, and so, like, I absolutely love them. I think the invite is great. I think the drama's great. We talked about it at the time. And I think the invite is one of my favorites of the year too. Just great stuff, man, all around. Like I said, performances, editing, directing, it's great.
We're,
I highly recommend it.
we're eating good this year.
We are. We've had a pretty good year. There's still a couple films in my top 10 that I'm like, they're not gonna finish it, like, in my top 10. Actually, that's a fun question as we approach the end here, and we are about to do our seesaw. I just want to know, how many films in your current top 10 do you think will finish the year in your top 10?
That's really good question. I'm gonna say 5.
5?
Yeah, I think the top 5 are gonna stay. The bottom 5 are gonna be out eventually because I'm predicting that we have Dune Part 3. We have one of my seesaws that I don't want to get into right now because we'll talk about it, but a movie coming out soon that I think would be in the top 10, Dune Part 3 and Avengers Doomsday, and then there's always some surprises. There's always some little surprises
Yeah.
that might take it over, so I don't know. But I'm saying the top 5 are definite. Bottom
I
5 can go
guarantee we
anywhere.
all know what the seesaw is, by the way. But anyway,
Probably.
no,
It's not. Wait, did I? It's not even. Oh, Spider-Man also. It's not Spider-Man.
oh, okay, that's what
I
I
forgot
was
about Spider-Man.
assuming.
Spider-Man, Doomsday, Dune, and then the one I want to talk about. So yeah, there's at least 4 movies that I think will make top 10.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, I think at least 4 of my top 10 will definitely make it at this point. There are definitely 3. That
Yeah.
is like the most I can commit. My top 3 will definitely finish there. But the second half is where we get all the Oscar contenders and all the big holiday blockbusters. So it's easy for me to say, oh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like they might still make it because I love those movies. My 8th favorite of the year is The Sheep Detectives. I love it.
That is my 9th favorite of the year. So
Oh,
it's
damn,
right
so
there.
close. But with that said, it's not going to finish in my top 10.
That's
you
what
know
I
what I
think
mean?
gonna
It's
move it
there
out
right
to.
now, but it's not. So, but I would say I can only definitively say my top 3, which is the Odyssey, Project Hail Mary, and Obsession. Those are the only 3 that I can confidently say will finish in my top 10 for sure by the end of the year.
Yeah, my top 3. So I'll say my top 5 that I think are staying is The Odyssey, and this doesn't really count, but the Noah Khan documentary. It's still a film I watched. The
Hey,
Odyssey.
documentaries are movies.
Yeah, The Odyssey, Noah Khan, Project Hail Mary, the drama, and Toy Story 5. I think
Yeah.
those are all
Wow,
staying
you
in my
think
top
Toy Story
10.
5 is going to be a top 10 film of the year for you?
I think it might be number 10. I think it'll be up there. I
Mhm.
think Spider-Man and Doomsday and Dune are going to be better than Toy Story 5, but I don't know. We'll see.
For example, Toy Story 5 on my list is already at 12.
Yeah, well, Obsession's at 11 for me. So
Like, my 4th place is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which came out all the way back in January and everyone's
Yeah.
forgotten about, but not me. That movie was awesome.
you'll never forget.
So that's like the closest to the top 3. The top 3 is the only 3 that I'm super confident in. The 28 Years Later, I think, just statistically speaking, because it's only at 4, it has a good chance to still be in like maybe 10 or 9.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Odyssey, Hail Mary, and Obsession are like, all right, those 3 are going to be, when all is said and done, I'm going to be like, those are 3 of my top 10 favorites of the year.
That's valid. That's so valid.
Okay.
Let's get into some Seesaw, dude, because I want to talk about some stuff coming out, or some stuff we want to see.
So why don't you go first? Because I low key never even had a chance to make up a seesaw because I was doing all those box office
Oh,
notes. So
okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
do it right now. It takes 2 seconds, but
I'll I'll
why don't you go
I'll
first?
talk about something I saw before I get into the movie that I think could make the top 10. And you saw this. I saw Wind River a couple days ago. I watched it on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen. Wild movie. Very just gritty and real and raw. And it was good. It was really good. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. It was a really good movie. It was a little, it's not the easiest watch, because of how
Mm-mm.
fucked up it is in the story, but there's a really interesting twist in it, and I had a good time watching it, like, just as a movie enjoyer, that it was just a really good, important movie. Um, and I thought it was really good. It was really well made, and I loved it. And something I want to see is a movie that could crack my top 10. It's coming out, I think, in a week or two. No, probably 2 or 3 weeks. The End of Oak Street with Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor. Dinosaurs, Catwoman, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude. I think that's gonna crack my top 10. Come on, how could it not? Like, it's a movie for me. I'm the
Yeah,
target
they
audience.
made it. They're like, all right, guys, Jack from the BOD. We got a movie in mind for
They know
him.
what I love, dude. They know what I love,
They
and
know their audience.
Anne Hathaway's having a great year. And I think this movie there's a very good chance that this movie sucks. But the premise alone is oh, drop my mic. The premise alone is so good that I'm like, it could be awesome. I don't know. I'm so conflicted. So I have high hopes for it. Not high expectations, but high hopes. I'm hoping it's good, and I believe there's a chance it could be good. And I'm very excited for The End of Oak Street coming out in August.
Yeah, man. Well, I did see Wind River, like you said. I saw it like a couple years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a very tragic movie. John Bernthal's actually in that one too. And
Yes, yes.
yeah, the one thing I remember from that movie is the whole 6 miles barefoot in the snow thing, which is like if you know, you know.
I read your
It's
review and that you quoted it like
did,
really.
did yeah, did I? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that makes yeah. Yeah, I love that movie. It was so good. I think I gave it a 9, like 4.5 stars.
Uh-huh.
Um, incredible stuff. All right, yeah. So moving on to my seesaw, something that I saw a lot. Not just the Odyssey. The Odyssey is the only thing I really saw this weekend, but something that I saw. I'm gonna kind of cheat and I'm doing a 1.5. The movie that I was gonna say, it's Full Metal Jacket. I had never actually seen Full Metal Jacket in its entirety. I'd seen clips, as some would say, it's always the damn clips. I'd seen the clips before. Of course, when what's his face? The Sergeant Hartman is talking to the Vincent D'Onofrio character and all that. So I'd seen it, but I watched it in its entirety, and I thought that this was another incredible movie in the incredible career of Stanley Kubrick. This episode we talked about Christopher Nolan, Kubrick, also one of the all-time greats. And what I really like about this film is it showcases like the cruelty of war and the dehumanization that comes from a soldier's experience in the military, in boot camp, this abusive psychological breakdown, and then in war, just the complete stripping of humanity, this perpetual cycle of violence that you see, and using the Vietnam War, which everyone knows historically speaking was a complete failure on the American part, all those lives lost, nobody won, and it kind of is like the point. What is the point of this senseless violence? And of course, all these war movies, even the Odyssey, obviously gets into it. But Full Metal Jacket is such an interesting approach from Kubrick, who was able to dip into so many different genres, and also sing a young Wilson Fisk. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, I said Slash because I just wanted to shout out The Pit. I finally started The Pit, and it honestly is so fucking good. I was like, damn, okay, people were right about this one.
I
Save
can't
that for
watch
another
it.
time. Save that for another
It's
time. But I was
it's
like,
too
damn.
gruesome for me. I can't watch it.
I was like, damn, dude. It is pretty crazy. I'm surprised I'm able to watch it the way that I have. I thought it was gonna be too much for me, but so far I'm like locked the fuck in.
I'm weird. Like, I can watch zombies ripping people's face off, and The Boys, where people like are blood everywhere and guts and everything. But when it becomes realistic, and as realistic as that show is, I just can't.
Hmm.
I can't stomach it.
the hardest part isn't even the gore. It's it's a tragic show at times, as you can imagine. Like
Yeah,
that is
sure.
honestly what's harder to sit through. And I don't want to necessarily spoil anything that happens in the show. Just in case you do decide to power through and watch. But
Uh-huh.
there's some stuff that happens and it's hard to see, but it's great. Anyway, something I do want to see, by the way, and I know you want to see it, is the new movie coming out, Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender, which is not
Yes.
getting nearly enough attention, I think. And I mean, I know why. It's because it's a direct to Paramount Plus release, and I don't have Paramount Plus. Nobody does, and I don't really want
I
to.
have Paramount Plus.
Bro, why do you ever use Paramount Plus ever?
When I watched all the Mission Impossible movies,
Besides that, fine. Besides the mission, have you ever watched anything else on Paramount Plus?
nope.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm probably, you know, I'm just gonna sail the seven seas. I'll be like
You can borrow
Odysseus.
mine.
And,
You can borrow my Paramount Plus.
yeah, wink, wink. I'll borrow your Paramount Plus.
I,
I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I don't want to pay a month to the Ellison family just to watch the movie, but I do want to see it, and it should be getting a theatrical release. Like it
Everyone's already
looks
seen
like
it
it'll be
already.
really.
That's the problem.
I didn't watch the leak stuff.
You and I refuse to watch it. I think it's disingenuous to the artists and the filmmakers and the
Absolutely.
creators and the voice actors and everybody involved in this project to watch it with the leak, especially if you're not going to watch it when it actually comes out. If you watch it with the leak, you got to watch it a second time just to actually make some money off it. Like,
I
the fuck?
completely agree, 100%. So I'll just borrow yours, so I don't have to get a whole subscription.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
But yeah, otherwise, very excited to see it.
Me too. I'm super excited. And every time a clip comes across my thing, I'm not gonna lie, I'll watch the minute-long clip of the movie. I'm like, oh, God, I'll see how it is. I'm like, oh, it looks good. I will never watch
I
the full thing.
legitimately, maybe this is a surprise. I haven't seen a single fucking thing from this movie.
I probably watched 3 or 4 minutes of the movie in total.
I know that the stuff's been out there.
Yeah.
I think once or twice when it first leaked, things popped up on my feed and I just scrolled past because I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even bother. And I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is one of my favorite shows. It is like up there for one of my favorite shows. Certainly one of the best animated shows. It's probably my second or third favorite animated show. My favorite is BoJack Horseman. And then obviously Invincible is certainly in the discussion in the top 3. But I love it, and so I'm very excited for the movie because I remember when, like, it's been a while ago now. They announced the Avatar Studios. Remember that?
I mean, it's been like 4 years or something.
Right, and so we're like waiting to really get, like projects out of that.
We got a couple on the way, but it's taking a while.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we'll see.
I'm excited for that. Thanks for watching our Odyssey episode, guys. We finished it. What do we do from here? What do we talk about?
There is basically nothing else left for us to do.
We were building up
until the Avatar
episode.
Stuff comes out, man.
Until the Avatar.
Give me my Kyoshi movie. Give me my Kyoshi movie.
True. I want to see Roku, but I guess we already saw him. But I love Roku.
But we can get more Kyoshi. Sorry. Anyway, you're right.
Yeah,
what do we do now?
6'5" baddie, dude.
Yeah, right. Like I'm down for that. Some Kyoshi. She could split the Earth Kingdom and me anytime. Anyway,
yeah, you should split your ass cheeks.
Fucking peg me. I want Kyoshi to peg me, guys. Okay,
God
damn it.
Yeah, you want to get pegged by some rocks. We know that.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Anyway, yeah. What do we do now? It really is sad. It's bittersweet. Like there was so much. It's just that like. It's like post-nut clarity for the Odyssey. Like we're building up, and now it's just like, oh,
we're edging, and then we got there.
But you know what? Like I said, we're going to be tracking its crazy box office run for the next several weeks. And then for the next 9 months, we're going to be keeping track of its Oscar chances as the race unfolds in the fall and in the winter. And that's going to be exciting. It really will be.
We are not done talking about The Odyssey. We will still continue to talk about it. Fantastic fucking movie. Go see that. Go see The Invite. Go watch all the episodes of the BOD if you haven't seen them. Go read The Odyssey. You can read the Iliad if you want, whatever, but whatever. Maybe Nolan will make the Iliad.
Yeah, what if someone... I did see that, a comment on Twitter where they were like, what if Nolan just says fuck it and now does the Iliad too?
Yeah, it's like, I want to know what happened on those 10 years of the beach.
Yeah, right. Like
I don't
I
know.
want to
Like, what are they
see,
doing?
I want to see what Nolan's Achilles would look like.
Yeah, I would like to see some failed attempts at Troy. Also, that's another thing that I was like, I forgot to talk about.
But
But
that's not
whatever.
in the that. But that's not the Odyssey. That's
Show
not the
me. All right,
fucking.
whatever. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode. This was a really fun one. This is one of my favorite episodes we've done, honestly, because I was so excited to talk about you with this. Talk about this with you. Yeah, dude, I love this. Follow us on all socials at Box Office Dynasty.
Yo,
Take it away.
comment Bible study numbers. Between 23 and 1265 wow, might be at this point. Next
Maybe.
week, next episode, Jack and I are finally going to review The Apartment. We have long been past the 2 weeks that we usually do, but you know what? Things are the way they are right now. It's summer, so there's a lot going on in film. We're trying to get through all of it. And of course, at the same time, we have our own trips and summer plans and stuff, and life gets in the way. But we are covering everything as we can. Next week, we're going to talk a lot more television, The Bear, Widow's Bay, X-Men 97, the Emmy nominations. So very exciting, but comment Bible study films. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just excited. We're trying
I'm
to get through
excited.
all of
It's gonna
it.
be such a good episode next week.
Comment
Too.
Bible study films. We'll review The Apartment. I've already seen the movie. Very excited to talk about it. And yeah, one more time, thank you to Ben, Brandon, and Matt for filling in on the last episode. Jack, happy to have you back, though, with me, of course, in the chair. And we'll see you all next time here at the BOD.
Fuck yeah. Peace.